On today's episode of Titus and Tate, we are doing a very special bonus episode from Radio Row at the Super Bowl, Tate.
Yeah, thank you to Westwood One. We got a nice, beautiful booth set up, and, this is how Radio Row works. If you don't know this, everyone is here for the Super Bowl. There's players here, coaches, people around the league, and they just kind of filter through, and they do 8 to 10-minute interviews, and lucky for us, we have our own booth, and they have to talk to us.
We had a great time talking to everybody. Again, thank you to Westwood One for setting this up for us and looking all official. We do have a pretty good set here, Tate.
Yeah, I hate to say it,
looks
but
nice.
Yeah.
So what you're going to hear today is just all sorts of football players, mostly football people. Obviously, we're at the Super Bowl, and we just had some fun with them. And I tried to ask them some goofy questions. And if you're saying to yourself, "Wait a second, I thought this was a college basketball podcast," great news.
It still is.
We're watching the games on Saturday, and we're gonna do a show Saturday night and put that out, and we'll be back to regular scheduled programming. But this is a little bonus thing we did, and if you want to enjoy it. Here it is. But first,
Woody Durham.
we're here with Zach Ertz on behalf of Sleep Number, the official sleep and wellness partner of the NFL.
Official.
Zach, you are the tight end of the Arizona Cardinals. Still, technically, you're going to be a free agent. You're not a free agent. What is you're technically still with the Cardinals, right?
Yeah, I think till whenever the league year starts in March.
What does being a free agent? Is that an exciting thing to be? Is it nerve-wracking? Is it both? Neither?
I think it's a little bit of both. I mean, this is the first time in my career that I've been a free agent. I was fortunate enough to sign my extension after my third year, and so was in Philly for 8 years, then got traded this year to Arizona. And I really don't know what to expect, so I think in that regard it's a little nerve-wracking just because as athletes you have so much – you strive. I mean, you have a lot of control of a lot of situations.
Yeah.
And this is kind of one you just kind of go with the flow. You have no idea what's going to happen. But I'd love to be back in Arizona. It was a great time there, but we'll see what happens.
And speaking of Arizona, you played the Los Angeles Rams, obviously, in the playoffs. That was the first games the Rams played, and everyone's kind of like, oh, my God, this team looks like a Super Bowl team, but you were on the other side of that. What was it like playing them, and then what did you learn in that game, and what do you see as we forecast the Super Bowl?
Yeah, thanks for that reminder. I mean, they're extremely talented. That front five really sets the tone for their entire defense. And their offense, they play such complementary football. The offense is built well. The defense is built well. The special teams are good. And it's going to be tough for the Bengals. I mean, you have to have long drives against this Rams defense because they play so much zone coverage. You just kind of take what the defense gives you. You can't hold the ball long. You got to be able to run the football. And so for that, I mean, they know that eventually Aaron and Vaughn are going to win. They're one-on-one matchups eventually. So they're just going to kind of buy their time until one of these guys can put you in a situation where 2nd and 18. And then you get to 3rd and 12, and those guys are like, oh, yeah, now we're teeing off. Now we're going to go.
What is your headspace after you win a Super Bowl in the sense, like going into the next seasons, are you now in a position where you're like, oh, I'm going to win the Super Bowl every single year? Like, that was easy? Or are you like, oh, my God, that might have been the only time, or somewhere in between? Like, how do you approach a season after you've won a Super Bowl?
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, all that kind of stuff that we've accomplished in my career, I say we because I don't feel like I've done this all myself. There's been so many people that have contributed to this.
It's very NFL of you. If you're the NBA, if you're an NBA player,
it was about you.
It was me. I did this. I carried the team.
You're welcome.
I just feel like when you're in the moment, you don't really have time to reflect. Like, I haven't even really comprehended that we won the Super Bowl. Because it's always like, okay, what's next? How can I get better for the next year? When you win the Super Bowl, your offseason starts 5 weeks later. So it's like you have less time to prepare for the next season. So that was kind of more of my mindset rather than, hey, look at me, take it all in. Right. It was more, hey, I have less time to prepare for this next season, so I better be on my game. Yeah.
And as we talk about the Super Bowl, your coach, Doug Peterson, just got a new head coaching job. Yeah. He was famous for giving ice cream to you guys. Is there anything that you miss about Coach Doug Peterson in that era, in that moment in time?
I mean, I hope he's not remembered for ice cream. And
no, for me, it's just ice cream.
And more so for the Super Bowl. But Doug is a phenomenal coach. And I think him and Trevor in Jacksonville are a great marriage together. because Doug is going to not put too much on his plate. He's going to use him exactly the way that his skill set allows him to. And I think it's going to be really good for him.
We primarily like to talk about college basketball, Tate and I. That's what we love.
That's why it doesn't make
show.
any sense.
So it's hilarious that we're here at Radio Row. You went to Stanford. I believe you met your wife at a Stanford baseball game. Do I have that correct?
Yep.
So I guess my question is, how plugged in are you to Stanford basketball? Does your fandom is it all over the campus?
And we apologize if we're springing this on you.
If we're putting this on,
no, you're good. You're good.
Give us like one Stanford basketball thought. Like when I say the word Stanford basketball, what comes to mind? That's perfect. Zach Ertz.
Stanford sports should be a premier sport. Regardless of the sport, in my opinion, because what that university is able to offer is unlike any other college. And I think the coach there now is starting able to really tap in. I mean, the recruiting classes are getting better and better. In the basketball. When I was there, we had some good players. I think they beat Kansas with Embiid and Wiggins.
That's right.
So that was kind of a huge win for us when I was there. But even before I got there, I grew up in the Bay Area, so I knew of. I think when with Childress and Casey Jacobson back in the day, the Lopez twins. So just being in the Bay Area, I've seen how good Stanford can be.
They had the iconic jerseys where they had like the line through the letters. You know, it was like the block letters with the lines through the letters. Yeah. Stanford basketball is a thing. I don't know.
This was a great answer, by the way.
I just needed some time. You know,
I didn't need you to break down the current roster. I was just curious. You know, as an alum, what. You know, so
it's a fair question.
What's your sleep number?
My sleep number score or my sleep number bed or setting?
Like, what is the sleep number for you? Like, is it specific the number? Like, you're 86, right? So do you try to get your sleep number around that, or what's going on?
It's only increments of 5.
Okay.
So if I tried at 86, I wouldn't be able to. But I'm typically around to 80.
Okay.
It's firm, but it's not like it's not like this table hard. But I like it for like the sleep number score that they give you after a night's sleep. Because last night I was traveling. In the past couple nights I've been traveling, so even when I was home, my scores were not good. And so I know that I need to find a way to improve these scores. I was about the 55. Which isn't greatest out of 100. So I need an extra cup of coffee this morning to get going. But overall, I feel like being an athlete, you know, you have so much preparation on the field. For me, a key component of that is sleep. I'm a terrible. My wife will vouch for me when I say this. I'm a terrible person if I get less than 8 hours of sleep.
That's fine.
But I need about 8.5, 9 really if I'm going to be able to be on Radio Row consistently. But overall, Sleep Number has been a great partner for my wife and I. They actually donated $5,000 to our foundation as well. And so we're just honored to be a part of that brand.
And one last thing, your prediction for the Super Bowl. I know we have to ask this. I mean, are you even watching like that, or do you have something in your mind where like, I think the Rams are going to win this game?
Do you watch the Super Bowl now that you're not in it? Or
Thanks thanks for reminding me that I'm not in the Super Bowl. I will watch the game. I'll be a casual fan and just kind of take it in. I'm not rooting for anyone, but I do think the Rams are going to win.
Okay.
I like that pick.
My last question is, this is our first time on Radio Row. You're literally the first person that we have ever interviewed in Radio Row history.
Well, they're not all going to be as cool as me.
Give us some advice as we move forward with like we get this car wash appeal. Like this is probably the 12th interview you've done today.
Yeah.
How do we keep this fresh for people?
This is my second interview on Radio Row in my career.
Okay.
So I usually don't want to come to.
The blind leading the blind here.
But I would say just. This has been fun, so just keep doing it.
All right.
I don't know if the basketball questions are gonna flow.
They might not hit.
But I'm just such a nice guy that I went with
football guys there.
College basketball team, unless you got like a Kentucky or Duke.
We got Emmitt Smith.
Carolina.
We got Emmitt Smith coming. Imagine like Emmitt Smith coming up. And we just ask him about Mike White and the Florida Gators. He's like, what the all right, Zach, we appreciate it, man.
Thanks, Zach.
You guys. Great time.
All right, we're here with Austin Ekeler, running back for the Los Angeles. You thought I was going to do it.
No, you almost did. I think you did a little bit.
I wanted to.
That's number 3 on the day.
I know. It's going to keep happening. How often? That happens all the time. That's going to continue to happen.
The crazy thing is, we have been in LA for 5 years.
Wow. I live in LA.
We've been here for 5 years.
I like the Chargers more than the Rams. I have no problem admitting that because you guys are more fun. You're a more fun team than the Rams. The Rams are too entitled. It's too. I don't like the Rams, but Anyway, Tate's a season ticket holder. He's a Chargers season ticket holder.
Yeah, thank you so much, man. I enjoyed every game. I was there yelling. I was going crazy. I went to the Cowboys game, the first game. That wasn't as fun. But the Raiders game, the next home game, second home game, was amazing. And the fans grew over the season because they started to believe.
They did, yeah.
Yeah, it was great.
I mean, win or lose, the games were all exciting.
Bolt up, baby.
The games were incredible.
That's what we do.
What has that transition been like to go from you were with San Diego, right? Like I'm trying to.
I was in the transition year.
You were the transition year.
I played for 5 years.
So you played not in San Diego. You played in Carson. The first year.
First OTAs ever was in San Diego.
Okay.
So I was in there for a little bit for 6 weeks, and then we ended up here.
Yeah. Has it been weird? Is that part weird? Is like the playing in front of different fans and they're like.
Well, I mean, I came from Colorado, so coming out to here to this bigger city and a little faster pace of life, it's been an adjustment for sure.
Did you grow up a Broncos fan? Surely you did.
I didn't even watch the NFL until like my junior year in college.
Really?
Yeah, man.
That's awesome.
Bro,
That's crazy.
I lived so in the moment. Like that's how I live my life.
Wait, you're serious?
I'm dead serious. I
thought you were saying that because like the Chargers are your division rival and you're just kind of.
No, my life has all been in the moment. Like
that's awesome.
So yeah, it was never about really the NFL. I wasn't even like, I'm gonna go to the NFL. Like I was just like, I'm just gonna play football right now, worry about my education, see where it goes, and then it just continued to build.
And can we talk about that? Because you're undrafted, right? I mean, this is like always the unheralded story that we get in. On our show, we have a message to the haters. So I wanted to ask you, you're undrafted, now you're the starting running back in Los Angeles. Yeah. Do you have a message to the haters in your life that always came at you?
I'm from really tiny towns, and the thing about really tiny towns, you usually get a lot of support.
People love you.
So it wasn't necessarily that I had a lot of haters, just odds were just against me.
Yeah.
Right? People supported me. They're like, go for it as far as you can. But it was just like, everything was stacked against me. And so, like, just continuing to grow and grow. That's why I've been so appreciative of the opportunity and the fans.
Were you undrafted because you forgot to like file paperwork or something? Like, was that part? Have you gone back to like looked? Because if you're living in the moment,
you didn't watch the NFL, they're like, this guy doesn't even watch football.
You didn't even realize you could play in the NFL.
No, I realized I could play, but it was just like it wasn't a thought that I was like, it was like more of a dream kind of thing.
Do you get treated like now that you've established yourself and you're obviously going to be around the league for a long time? Have you noticed the respect change, or do guys still bust you for like not being not being a first round or second round guy?
Half the league is undrafted guys.
Yeah.
So half of it, right? And why is that? Is because you can't measure this and this. You can't measure your mindset and your heart. Right, and so that's why guys fall through the cracks, and that's why guys are able to keep continuing to come up, because in the end, that's gonna rise.
God, I love that. It got me fired up. I have to ask this: as a Chargers, season ticket holder, we're in LA, we're LA natives. Are you pulling for the other LA team? Is that something, or do you guys hate the Rams? Because I go back and forth. You know what I mean? It's my city, it's my team. I guess I should pull for them, but again, I'm a Chargers fan until I die, so I don't think I should pull for them. Where do you stand on that?
I don't know, man. Like I said, I'm big in like community involvement, and so I'm like, we have a chance as the Chargers and the Rams to really impact this community,
especially Inglewood.
Not even outside of. I'm talking outside of football. Like we have like so many opportunities to get in this community and help it out, right? And in turn, if we do that, we're going to create more of a football culture around this, because we're going to create a tighter connection to it.
Yeah.
But you guys can help the community better than they can.
Right.
You guys are better.
We're definitely competitive, right?
I got to say, it is. I know this isn't your decision, but it is that you have the exact same colors. I think that's very confusing. I think the Rams, having the helmets similar to the Chargers, all of it is very confusing for the rest of America, if I'm being honest.
It really is.
And it doesn't help with the San Diego part of forgetting that you're in LA because of it's just it's all very confusing. But I do like the Chargers more. Like we are definitely Chargers guys.
Yeah, we're bolt up guys.
So, anyway.
You're not just saying that because I'm on here, right?
No. I literally have season tickets, and I had no idea I would ever be interviewing you, Austin. I really didn't. I was just at every game, and I was like pulling for you.
Let's go.
We have to ask this. You got the P&G good every day. You're
good
here.
Plug, Tate.
Yeah, you know what I mean? We have to ask this. So where can fans come and meet you this weekend as you kind of bop around and do the whole Super Bowl experience?
Yeah, man. We got an incredible event going on over here at 5:30 at the Convention Center.
Okay.
It's going to be a carnival. It's basically anything you can ask for as far as engagement, as far as like an event, right? We're going to have giveaways. We're giving away a washer, a Tide washer.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, you want a washing machine?
You need one out here. Yeah.
Everyone needs one, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And then also Super Bowl tickets next year, right? So some big time giveaways, and sure. maybe you're not excited about the giveaways, but at least you can come meet me.
Who's in the Super Bowl next year?
It's going to be Chargers, and I don't know. We'll find out next year.
Chargers, Rams.
Chargers,
right?
Yeah, that'd be great.
But yeah, I mean, there's even more, right? Like you can come meet me, engage with me. I have a little thing going on. If you're wearing an Ekeler jersey, I'm handing out some player cards.
Let's
go.
go.
Get a little engagement, and then at the same time, there's a carnival going on, so there's a bunch of different games, and then also, you can learn about how you can help your community through their rewards program.
pggoodeveryday.com. You can learn more if you go there. There you go.
Check it out.
Austin Ekeler, thanks for joining us, man.
Yeah, thanks.
Sorry, he's with the Los Angeles Chargers. There, that came a little more natural.
Yeah, that was solid.
Thanks, Austin.
Yeah, thanks, boys.
We're here with Lawrence Guy of the New England Patriots, and Lawrence, you are a Patriot, and for a very long time, the Patriots, just the mention of the Patriots for a lot of people, it invokes anger. They do not like the Patriots. Are you sensing now that Tom Brady is no longer on the team? Do you think are people are coming back around to cheer for you guys as a whole, or do you even care about this at all?
No one's going to cheer for us.
No one's going to cheer for you.
We're the most hated team in the NFL. We know that for a fact. But you see it. That's the best part about it. You see how everybody reacts to it, so you just have fun with it.
Yeah.
Actually going like the Cowboys is America's team. Like we're America's most hated team.
Yeah.
So you just enjoy that aspect of that.
Yeah, you guys are the Patriots, which is like it's like ironic that America's most hated team is the Patriots. But
Right.
I mean, that's here, neither here nor there. I did want to ask, you're the Walter Payton Man of the Year nominee. I've seen a lot of guys talk about this and how much it means to them. How much does it mean to you to get that recognition, off the field, as opposed to just everything between the lines?
Oh, it's a blessing because you have to understand when you're doing this, you're not trying to get recognition. You're doing it to help another person out, another family out, to uplift them.
You're just doing the right thing because it's the right thing.
Correct, and that's what you don't see a lot.
Yeah.
You see everybody just walk past everybody, and it's like, oh, well, what do I do? Should I help? Should I not help? And the whole idea of it is use your platform for the good, right?
Yeah.
Uplift that person, give them a voice.
Yeah.
When you give that person a voice, it means so much more. You don't sit there trying to find time. You make time for somebody else.
Do you feel pressure being the Man of the Year nominee moving forward in your life that you have to you have a standard you have to now live to, that all your friends and family are like, now hang on a second, Lawrence.
That's not a Walter Payton move.
That's not a Man of the Year move right there.
I hear that all the time in the training room. Like, really? This is how you acting? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, guys, I'm helping them out. Like, you guys are like, come on.
Yeah, I can mess with you guys.
You were at the honors thing last night, right? Because they announced the winner. Do you and all the other Man of the Year nominees that don't win, do you then, because is it like a self-selecting deal where the way you find out who the true Man of the Year is tell you all that you've lost, and then we watch how you handle it, and then whoever handles it best wins? That's how I would do it. I would get all of you in the room, and I'd be like,
who's the best
all of
guy
you
here?
lose, and then whoever handles it the best, I give the trophy to that guy. How do you handle I assume you guys handled it well. I assume that's the one award that gets handled the best for losing.
It's a community award. How do you get upset?
And there's no losers here.
There's nothing. Everybody's a winner somehow. But
I would love when one guy stands up and flips everyone off and walks out the room.
I think the best part about it was we had one person that's sitting in his chair, and he was like, hold on. When did everybody go to the stage? I was like, we've been backstage for the last 20 minutes. They go walk out here like, so nobody came to tell me? I said, I guess not, bro.
I guess not.
I said, I feel for you. I said, I don't know what that tells you. I said, you could have won it. He's like, nah, they left me out here. I didn't win.
We have a segment on our show. We do a college basketball show, believe it or not. So if you're asking yourself why are you guys here at Super Bowl, great question, Lawrence. We're trying to figure that out too. But we do a segment called Good Guy Bad Guy, and your last name is Guy, and we wanted to tweak the segment with you and have you play a game called Who's That Guy, where I tell you people with the name Guy, and you tell me if you know them.
Okay.
Is that do you understand the concept? So I would start with
so I know Guy Fieri.
Guy Fieri.
Boom.
You know him?
Yes.
There we go.
Is
Great
he
guy.
first? If I said name a guy, is that the first guy you think of? Is Guy
Yeah,
Fieri?
because his first name is Guy.
It's Guy.
Yeah.
All right.
It's been about 3 people in my life that I found out. I didn't know Guy was the first name.
Oh, really?
Until I got to college. I was like, that don't make no sense.
Yeah.
You're telling me your
dude.
first name is Guy? He's like, yes. So when people say it, they'd be like, Guy, come here. I was like, that'd be horrible as a kid.
I know the feeling. My last name's Titus, and that's some people use that as a first name. It's the same thing. I'm like, that's
Yeah.
that's not allowed. You
It's
can't do
not.
that. You can't do that.
You can't have one person with a last name Guy and a first name Guy in the same class.
Yeah. What about Ray Guy? Do you know that? Do you know who Ray Guy is?
No.
Ray Guy is like the GOAT punter. He's like the one punter that's in the Hall of Fame. And the football
it's the
Hall
Ray
of Fame.
Guy Award.
The Ray Guy Award.
Yeah.
If you win if you're the best punter in the
yes.
NFL, you're the Ray Guy Award winner.
Yeah, you're that guy.
You're that
I should
guy.
have been the punter. Like, geez. I'm like, this award was named after me.
That's a late career move for you. Is you
Yes.
pivot to punting and you say you're Ray Guy's like grandson or something.
100%. You know what I need to do?
Yeah.
Lose a whole bunch of weight.
Yeah.
Play a little bit of soccer and see if I could do it.
There you go.
You would screw up the entire special teams of the Patriots if you came in and you were just the better punter.
I don't think you
be
need to lose
amazing.
weight though. I don't think you need to lose. I think that's part of the brand. Is like you're the biggest punter ever in history, and you're the one punter,
guys.
You're the one punter that like you punt and then you take off running to make the tackle too.
They'd be like, hey, he's going to sneak it somehow. It's a fake.
What about? Do you know who Guy Ritchie is?
Yeah.
You okay?
Okay,
All right.
yeah.
All right. All right.
There we go.
Larry the Cable Guy.
Everybody knows.
You know that. All right. Larry the Cable Guy.
That's my generation.
Do you know Guy Pearce? Does that name ring a bell?
It does.
Memento.
He's an actor. He's in like L.A. Confidential. What was he in Mayor of Easttown recently?
Yeah.
All right. And then the big one for us is Kyle Guy. Do you know who Kyle Guy is?
No.
That's okay. He played for Virginia. He won a national championship in 2019. He's a big Bengals fan. He plays for the Miami Heat now.
Okay.
Kyle Guy. Yeah.
I need Kyle Guys.
You guys got
jersey.
we can give
I need
you
to get that happening.
We need to make that happen. You guys could like start a podcast just called Two Guys or something.
Yeah, that's
just
like
two
there
guys.
was one other person in the
guys
in the
being
NFL
dudes.
that
Guys
had
being-
the last name Guy, and I was like, we
really?
should say we're family.
Yeah, you
and
should.
they put it on a piece of paper because when you come in, they say, "Are you guys related to anybody or has anybody ever played in your family?" You have to fill out that paper.
Do you get like
bro,
extra incentives if they did or something like that?
No,
Oh,
it's just what they do. It's a legacy thing that they have going on. That they try like, okay, this is who you're related to. This is your background. This is
Ray
your
Guy.
gene.
Ray Guy.
Ray Guy is your
You
great
gotta-
uncle.
You got to go to them and say, we got to update the paperwork. I just found out that my great uncle is the greatest punter of all time. You went to Arizona State, right?
I did.
I have this theory. We're more concerned with the basketball side of things. So,
right.
but you went to school there. You're an athlete there. So, I have a theory that the basketball team will never actually be that good because
that hurts.
Arizona State is too much of a party school. I think they use it to get recruits in, and
Right.
then once you're there, you're too distracted.
You get lost in the sauce.
Do you feel like that is a fair assessment or unfair?
We're better than Arizona. Let's say that.
Okay, I'll let you say that. I'll let you say.
I say that. We're better in Arizona all around. No. The school has changed since I've been there.
Yeah.
So since I've been there, like that was that big party school when I was there. Now it's a little bit different. They kind of got rid of everything that I know, and they kind of built up the program a little bit more. So I don't think they get distracted.
Okay.
I think that like every organization, every program, you have to build.
Yeah.
You never know.
All right.
Look at Cleveland. They've been building ever since.
There you go.
They're building.
Okay.
You have to
Okay.
build. We're building.
But-
It's got to be better than the school in Tucson.
But in general, you don't think that the culture's not a problem at Arizona
No.
State, the school, because that's like
No.
I'm from the Midwest, and anytime when I was growing up, anybody mentioned Arizona State, I was
Where
like,
you from?
that is a party. I'm from Indianapolis. Yeah, I went to Ohio State.
You see, you should have went to the best university ever.
Yeah, I should have gone to Arizona State.
Honestly, it's a great sales pitch.
You were in school with James Harden, right?
I was.
Do you?
What do you think about the trade yesterday?
Did he?
Let's just say, I think we all saw that Instagram post
Yeah.
of his stats.
Yeah.
Ben Simmons stats.
Yeah.
And the LOL on the bottom.
Oh, it was great.
Oh, it was amazing.
Yeah, that was good for everybody.
But let's say watching him in college play, when he kicked it on, you knew it. It didn't matter what the score was. It's like when he was playing, they were going to win that game.
Yeah. And he when he was partying, I'm sure it was awesome there too. I'm sure he took. How many NCAA tournament games did James Harden win? Not that many. Did he even win any?
I think he won one.
Did he? Probably,
Better than Arizona.
Better than Arizona. That's all that matters.
That's all that matters.
Anything else, Tate?
That's it.
This
man.
has been fun, man.
Yeah.
Thanks
we can
for
talk to you all day.
joining. We gotta hook you up with Kyle Guy. Kyle Guy listens to our show. He comes on our show all the time.
Tell Kyle Guy. I live in Miami.
Yeah. You know the other thing? The head coach, do you know who Tony Bennett is? He's the head coach at Virginia, Virginia basketball. His middle name is Guy. He's
Guy
Tony
Bennett.
Guy Bennett.
So we
have to start a
need
guy
do,
gang.
Correct. When you get everybody together, exchange all this merchandise and stuff, and just have a collectible.
And people are like, "Who's that group?" You're like, "Those are the guys."
Those are the guys.
Those are the guys.
And then we have to put on the paperwork. We're all related.
There you go. Lawrence Guy, you're the best, man. Thanks.
Thank you so much, man.
All right, we're here with Lorenzo Alexander, who was walking up. He misheard us. You thought that we called you an old man.
Yeah, it's a lot of football, a lot of hits that took. So sometimes I don't quite hear what somebody says. So I just double checking just to see how you're going to respond.
I think you wanted to tackle us. I think you wanted to tackle us. I think he was trying to set us up to tackle us.
What's funny is, as you were walking up, I said to myself, like, you're retired, obviously, and I was like, this man is still in great shape.
Yeah.
You actually do not look like an old man. That was going to be my first question.
Yeah.
It's like, how do you? Because we're basketball guys, so like we're washed up.
That's my first love right there.
Oh, there you go. Respect.
We're washed up basketball guys, but when you're a washed up basketball player, you can just still go play pickup and get a little run in.
Right.
What do football guys do when you retire, but you still like miss the game and want a little taste of it and want to hit guys? And like, what do you even do?
There's nothing you can do. I'll go play some hoop and just go down on the post and beat some guys up. That's we actually had a church event in my house and I was banging some guys around, some young kids too. So that's where you get the physicality at.
No, that checks out. That's why you came over here and you were just trying to get a rise out of us because you're like, I need some physical contact.
Yeah, always, and I get a little bit of it. I coach my kids now, and so I'm always riding the refs and giving them a hard time. So I still get to talk a little trash and still kind of engage the game that way.
How much does your like workout schedule change? I'm fascinated by guys like Joe Thomas is one that comes to mind. That he was such a big dude. He retires, he immediately gets skinny. What about? I mean, like, you're obviously an offensive lineman.
Well, once upon a time, I was a D tackle. I was 315, and
you played like every position.
Yeah, throughout my career, I had to lose weight in order to play the new position the coaches wanted me to be at. But currently, I have a pretty good workout regimen. I'm working out right now. I'm in this phase where I'm doing something like almost every day.
Okay.
I'm trying to get to the point where I can dunk consistently.
Oh.
Yeah, I've only dunked like a couple of times throughout my lifetime. Like when I was in high school and college, I couldn't because I was 300 pounds.
Yeah.
Then I had lost a lot of weight and I could do it. I dunked most recently probably was like 34, 35. I could still dunk.
Okay.
So I'm trying to get back to that. So I'm actually working out pretty hard
This
right
man
now.
is speaking our language.
Yeah, I really like the way that you approach life.
I turned 34 last summer, and right after my birthday, I dunked for the exact same reason.
Yeah.
I'm 6'4", and like I'm scared, so it's like a little easier for me. And I play basketball, like that's what I did. But right after I dunked, I hurt my knee, and like I've had this knee pain for ever since then, and I'm really nervous, Lorenzo, that I'm done. I don't want to talk about it. Some of my friends are trolling me, and they're like, that was your last dunk of your life, and I'm like, that can't be true.
No.
That can't be true. We're gonna be fine.
You'll be all right. You just gotta get a little PT, man. You gotta be proactive about it.
Yeah. Can we talk about? I mean, you mentioned obviously like you've played a lot of different positions. You've been all over the field, but the trash talk. Is there any place like on the field? Like, is it in the trenches? Is it?
Yeah. Where's the best?
Where's the best trash talk happening?
Yeah, trash.
Where is it occurring? It occurs on any play. Anytime you have the opportunity to dominate another dude, it's about a 100% chance that he's gonna tell you how much he just dogged you. And I used to do it all the time. I used to love doing it, especially on special teams. That was my thing for such a long part of my career. And a lot of people don't understand special teams and don't get it. But anytime you run in full tilt and you run through another man and then go run through another man and make the tackle, you're gonna get up and talk a little trash. Or like on punt team, I was on the punt return team, and the guy is actually trying to get down the field and go tackle the other guy.
Yeah.
So my job is to prevent that. And so there would be some times where I would literally lock a dude up at the line of scrimmage and would not let him leave the line of scrimmage, and the ref has to come and help. I'm like, oh, you need the ref to help you out? And just hold him at the line of scrimmage. And when you're able to do that, that's just so fun to be able to dominate another dude.
Lorenzo, I like you. You seem like a fun hang, but I do not want to play basketball with you at all.
No, I'm gonna have to send you some clips too to see some of the banging.
I want to be on your team.
Oh yeah, that's a much better advantage.
We'll be on your team.
What are you doing this week at Super Bowl? What are we doing Radio Row? What are we trying to accomplish here?
Well, obviously I'm just out here. I love being on the radio. I do a lot of different things, but also as a player, one of my things was to try to elevate causes that were very passionate to me and my family. And this week I've partnered with Black Women's Health Imperative, an organization that's trying to help Black women who historically haven't had access to health care, just making sure that they have resources, support, and get informed about their current health situations, right? I think oftentimes we are driven by fear of not wanting to know if there's something wrong, but not realizing by the information it empowers us, right? It gives us the ability to know that we can live in the know that maybe we're completely healthy, but if we're not, we can detect something early stages so that we can develop an action plan and still be there for our families, right? Because, whether you're black, white, Asian or whatever, are the women in our lives are normally the backbone of our families, right? You think about all the things your mom or your wife does for you, and we want them to be there as long as possible, because I wouldn't be standing here, I wouldn't be the pro athlete, I wouldn't be the husband or the man that I am today without my wife and obviously my mom. And so we want to make sure that we make it sure that these women are here for us. And the only way you can truly do that is making sure that you are in control of your health as far as knowing what you need to be doing.
Awesome. There you go. BWIHI.org is the website to go to, correct?
Yeah, correct. And I also encourage people to watch the 23rd Annual Gospel Celebration, which is kind of in a partnership with this. And I'll be on Bounce TV Saturday night at 8 p.m.
Well, there we go. Lorenzo, thank you, man. Very young. I want to reiterate, we did not call you an old man.
It's okay, man. Where you guys out of, though? Where you guys located?
We're in L.A.,
we live
but...
in LA,
okay, I'm going to have to come out here next time. We have to do a little pickup game or something. Make sure your knee is right.
Let's do it.
I'm going to be hurt.
We're on the same team, though.
Same team. I'm on your team. Don't worry about it.
All right.
Yeah,
I just want to spot up in the corner and shoot jump shots. I don't want to. I'm staying out of the paint. I'm staying out of the paint.
Yeah, I got that.
You drive and kick and we'll shoot. We got you.
All right, Lorenzo. Thanks, man.
All right, appreciate you guys.
All right, we're here with Jerry Jeudy of the Denver Broncos. What do you got going on today? What are you popping around doing interviews and stuff?
Yeah, just walking around doing some interviews. Yeah. Kick back, relax. Nothing major.
Yeah.
What's the approach for you coming to the Super Bowl and all this media stuff? What do you want to get out of this experience? Are you just kind of here just trying to figure it out? Is this your first time doing this?
Actually, this is my second time doing it. I went to the Super Bowl in Miami, did a little bit of interview there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you only go when it's like Miami and LA.
You're like,
the Super Bowl's in Vegas to go. Like when if the Super Bowl's in Indianapolis, you're not going. Is that what we're?
What about Cleveland?
They were the only two I was invited to, so I was like, hey, why not?
Cleveland Super Bowl. Jerry Jeudy might not be making that one. Did you? I'm a Buckeye. I can't remember. Alabama's so good. You guys win the title all the time. You guys beat us in the championship, didn't you, 1 year?
Yeah, I think the last time Alabama played the Buckeye was when I think 2014.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is that like? Because I'm sure you get asked about it all the time, but the fans that watch it, just Alabama's such a machine. It almost feels like it's boring that you guys would always win. As someone who's in it,
winning. Never born
winning.
Never born winning.
Never born. No. You never got you never won a national title and thought to yourself I don't know, that was easy.
Nah, I thought to myself I need some more of these.
How was that transition to go from a program like Alabama where you're winning all the time? Broncos, you guys aren't terrible, but obviously you're not going to the Super Bowl every year like you did with Alabama. How was that transition for you to?
It's tough. Going from winning in 3 years in college and going to winning not as much. So it kind of difficult. But at the same time, everybody go through their adversity. It's going to be greater years to come.
And obviously when you're in professional football, you have Nick Saban in college who's scheming everything for you. There's this very, kind of from the bottom to the top, there's a whole order of operations. How hard was it to get into the NFL and then realize that not everyone is as organized as Alabama football? Not everything is set up, so to speak, that way. So you kind of just had to maneuver your own path, right, when you got there.
Yeah, so, you got to that's when you got to help yourself and know how to maneuver and get through situations and create a plan and have a routine for yourself to make sure you stay on top of everything.
How do you like the altitude in Denver? Is that good for you or bad for you?
When I first got up there, oh my God, going up the stairs was just tiring. But now it takes a couple of days or weeks to get used to it, but I'm pretty used to it now.
Yeah. You got a bunch of talent there. I'm a North Carolina guy, so Javonte Williams is one of my favorite people in the world. Yeah. Can you just talk about that young core in Denver? There's a lot of young, talented players and obviously a bright future there.
Yeah, we got a lot of young players in every position and a lot of young, great talent to play in every position, so he's very excited to see what we do on the following years.
Are you much of a trash talker?
Unless If they talking trash to me, yeah.
you just respond. You let your play do the talking.
Most of the time. But you got something to say.
That's the Florida in you, right? You know what I mean? You can't help that.
Who did you look up to as like a wide receiver that you wanted to model your game after? Who's like your favorite players?
Coming out of high school, my favorite player was Amari Cooper.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, Florida guy, Bama guy.
Yeah.
Great route runner.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. And then this week, do you have a prediction? Do you care who wins the Super? Like, do you have a vested interest, or are you just kind of casually watching?
I'm just kind of casual watching. So, you know, it's gonna be an exciting game. It's gonna be a lot of big plays happening.
Playing for the Broncos and having John Elway around and all that, how often does he like walk around with the Super Bowl rings and like talk to you guys about that? Like, how many times has he shown you the clip of him doing the helicopter thing?
Are you tired of seeing it?
I mean, you see
his phone. He's like, Jerry, look at this. Did you see this?
I mean, you see around town and stuff like that on social media and all that. He don't really speak too much about it, but he pretty cool. John Elway, pretty cool dude. You know, very laid back. So yeah.
What about Shannon Sharp? Do you enjoy Shannon Sharp? I mean, obviously a great Denver Bronco, and then obviously on TV right now. I feel like he always has the Broncos.
Is that
back.
good or bad to have?
Is it good to have him on your side?
You know, it's all good. You don't want Shannon Sharp on your bad side.
Well, that's what. But I feel like it could be
you don't
bad.
Talk bad about you, so hey.
I feel like having Shannon have such a platform could be bad because if you guys aren't winning enough, maybe he takes it personally that the Broncos aren't winning enough. I don't know. Like it's you got to keep him. You're right. You got to keep him happy. You want him as an ally. That's not a position you want to be in.
For sure.
All right. Jerry Jeudy, appreciate it, man. Enjoy the Super Bowl. Do you have a prediction? Do you even care? You don't care.
No, I don't got a prediction, but
what's your favorite Super Bowl memory ever? That when you think of the Super Bowl, either game or like a halftime show or a commercial. The Budweiser Frogs probably doing the Budweiser or the What's Up Guys. Is it the What's Up Guys? The commercial.
I don't remember. I don't remember that commercial.
I always forget that there are people younger than us.
Yeah, I'm 22.
Yeah, you were probably like 2 years old.
Yeah. I don't remember nothing at 2.
In the 90s. Yeah. What like when I say Super Bowl, what comes to mind?
First thing that came to my mind was the Centennial Holmes catch.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah, that's the first thing that came to my mind, that game. The Cardinals and Steelers.
That's a good one.
2008. There you go.
All right, Jerry, we appreciate it, man.
No, I appreciate y'all.
All right, we're here with Cooper Rush, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. You're technically the backup quarterback, Cooper, and one thing that stands out to me now when I watch the NFL is that the backup quarterbacks aren't the holders anymore.
No, yeah, I think that ended.
Have you ever?
That ended with Romo, right?
Did Romo? That's where my mind goes because I was like, is that? Have you ever been a holder? Is that? Ever had that discussion?
I've never held. No, they'd have the QB backup guy practice it sometimes in camp, but the punter's got to practice.
The punter's
you do it a lot.
Yeah.
So in the whole practice over there, getting perfect and.
We didn't.
It takes time.
When we were talking to Lawrence Guy earlier, we were trying to convince him to become a punter because Ray Guy is the greatest punter ever, and we didn't tell him that he'd have to be a holder.
Yeah. You got to do both things. Yeah.
So what is it like being like you're from a tiny town in Michigan, I believe, right? And you went to Central Michigan,
yep.
And then now all of a sudden you look up and now you're playing for the most famous, organization in football, maybe in all of sports all over the world. Was that a weird transition for you to be like, I couldn't like ease my way into the NFL by playing for, freaking.
It's like, here's the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a special place. Like you said, worldwide franchise. Everyone cares about them, which is fun. I mean, you play some places in the league. Guys have come to the Cowboys, said, "Wow, this is amazing! Like everyone cares about us. This is like a big deal around here." And I think a lot of guys thrive with it. It's fun. It's a great organization, a lot of obviously big time history, and it's fun playing primetime games, being the focus, and that's what you sign up to do. You want to play for that type of team.
It's fun being asked every year why you guys aren't in the Super Bowl. Why didn't you win the Super Bowl by 5 touchdowns, Cooper? And you're like, what? You know how hard that is?
No, I like that. I think that's fair. I did want to ask Cooper just about the experience of being, because once you're the backup quarterback of the Cowboys, people know who you are. You're probably the most famous backup position in football. And then the guy who used to be the backup, Kellen Moore, is now the offensive coordinator.
That's true.
So do you feel pressure that you have to you have to figure out what's next? At some level, you have to compete with Kellen Moore.
Yeah, Kellen's he's taking off.
He's like going to be a head coach soon.
Yeah, I know. He's rising fast. Yeah, Kellen's great.
he always knew he was going to be a coach. He always wanted to, and he's done a really good job since he's taken over, and makes our jobs easier for sure. Makes the QB room, the way he coaches it, the way he plans it out. He asks us to do a lot, but the way we do it, I think, makes quarterback pretty friendly.
There's a belief out there that being a backup quarterback in the NFL is the greatest job in all of professional sports because you're first of all, you're a quarterback, so you never get touched in practice or anything. And then like everyone knows you because you are the backup quarterback, but then at the same time you're not getting crushed by the defensive lineman and all that. Is there anything bad about it that you hate? Is there anything like this is actually harder? Like
except for not playing, obviously.
Obviously they're not playing, but what's the hardest part about the job that people don't realize?
It's the mental side of it. Like you said, the physical, obviously you're getting taken care of pretty good. Not taking a beating every week, but the mental side of it can take a toll. You got to keep preparing, and you've played your whole life. You've been a starter your whole life everywhere you've played. So there's that competitor side of you. You're not supposed to be playing football, but the mental side of just getting ready every week, and then you don't play, and then
maybe you
right
do
back
play
to it next week.
And then maybe you do play. Maybe he goes down, and they're like, "Hey, we need you for this game-winning drive." You're like, "What?"
And then you haven't taken a rep all week. Yeah. So it's it's more the mental side for sure.
I read somewhere, and I'm sorry, but I'm good at my job, and I dig stuff up. So I read somewhere where your father said you were kind of a Pillsbury Doughboy when you were in high school. And I'm also a former fat guy.
Yeah, we're reformed fat guys.
Yeah, we're kind of a fat podcast. Do you have a fat story to share with us? Like when you were at your fattest, was there like a time where you like housed like 2 large pizzas what's the
sleeve of Oreos?
When you look back on your fat phase,
I was the same. Yeah. Well,
what's the fattest thing you've ever done?
Oh man, I mean I wasn't like some 280-pound guy.
Okay, all right.
I was the same way I am now, just in high school. Looks different, yeah.
Okay.
A little sloppier, obviously, but I can eat some food pretty, but a lot of guys can. Don't?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I got called frumpy at the combine. I never knew what that word was.
Did you really? I think that was like an official.
I think that was in my report.
They put frumpy?
Or it was an article or the report. My dad brings it up a lot. It's pretty fun.
Your dad sounds like he's a little hard on you. Can you talk about just being in California? Because one of my favorite things about the Cowboys is that you guys go to Oxnard, and you guys are out here for training camp, and then Hard Knocks was obviously covering you guys this year. So being in California, does it feel like a second home as a Cowboy? Because there's so many Cowboys fans out here.
Yeah, Oxnard's great. I mean, you can't pick a better spot to do camp. It's 65 degrees every day.
It's beautiful.
On your off days, you're 10 minutes from the beach. I mean, it's pretty nice. Get away from Texas for a bit. And the setup we have out there, you can't beat. It's all right in house.
And it's like the town is like it becomes Dallas Cowboys Central.
It's literally it's basically just a hub for Cowboys fans for 3 weeks. But we feel like that a lot of places we go. I mean, 40-50% of the stadium's Cowboys fans making noise. A lot of teams have to use silent count at home, and so it's pretty crazy. Pretty, like I said, cool organization to be part of.
Yeah.
Love it.
What should we look more into? What should we as fans and media types be more suspicious about from your combine performance? I noticed that you didn't do the bench press.
Smart.
But you also didn't take the Wonderlick. I believe.
Ooh, even smarter.
Which one is more? You did take the Wonderlick?
Yeah. We all do.
Oh, I was told I was trying to find your Wonderlick score, and I was told you didn't.
I don't know what I got actually.
But you're a smart guy. I mean, you're a smart guy. I know that.
Yeah, the Wonderlick's weird. I mean, it's like all about speed and how fast you can read, pretty much. And
nobody does the bench press. Why is that? Why do they have it if no one does? Like, I never understood like how you can opt out of stuff. Like,
it's
isn't
Kevin
the whole
Durant.
point?
Kevin Durant. That was the end of it. Nobody wants to do bench press anymore.
But how? Like, you should.
I remember like growing up, like Brady Quinn like hit like 38 on the bench press, and no one's ever done it since. Like no one's.
Jesus, Brady, we get it. Brady works at Fox now. Brady, he's still doing the bench press. He's still he goes on the road. He just goes to the hotels.
He's like, you want to see me do it? I can do 40 now.
I can do it again. What are you doing this week? What do you got going on? Anything fun? Any cool parties? You going to like parties of celebrities in LA? You meet like. You going to a house in the hills with Quavo and stuff? Like, what's going? What are we doing?
We'll see what happens.
What's your vibe?
Our agency brings us out here. They do a big Super Bowl event tomorrow, Steinberg Sports. So
okay,
they bring a lot of guys out, and He set us up with some stuff. And
Do you go to Super Bowl every year?
I've gone a couple times.
Because we said Jerry Jeudy, and we asked him, and he's like, I came to this one in LA, and I went to the one in Miami, and we were just laughing at he just goes, what is it?
Yeah, he's like, I like the city. I'll go there.
He's like, I skipped the ones in the middle of America, but I'll go to the cool ones.
Not the Minnesota one.
Yeah, that's not his jam. All right, Cooper. Well, thank you, man. We appreciate it. Enjoy the time here, and best of luck with everything. And next year when you guys are playing in the Super Bowl,
we got to have you back.
We'll have you back. And,
that sounds good.
You and Dak.
Yeah, that'd be great.
And Kellen Moore, the whole QB room.
The whole QB room.
Yeah.
All right, but thanks,
Cooper.
guys.
All right, we're here with KJ Osborn, Minnesota Vikings. Are you the guy that Lizzo was talking about? I just thought about that.
Hopefully.
You're not the Lizzo. So you're kind of new to the. What year are you in the league? This is your second.
This was my second
year.
My third.
So you're
Nice.
you're a little new to this. We are too. This is our first time at Radio Row doing this at the Super Bowl. What are you learning? What are you doing here? Like, what are we trying to accomplish? Taking it all in.
Right. I'm just this is my first time too, because last year was a COVID year.
That's true.
So
yeah.
I wasn't able to get out. So this is my first time. Just talking. Building relationships, building connections. Get my name out there a little bit, and just trying to learn and make connections. Really, that's what I'm trying to do.
I love that. And KJ, you went to the U, and you already know everybody, loves making that connection in the NFL. There's a nice brotherhood there. Is there a lot of Miami guys that have reached out to you that you stay connected with that maybe have helped your career a little bit?
Oh yeah. As soon as I got to the league, there's a bunch of them reaching out to me reaching out to them. I said it the other day. I talked to Michael Irvin. I see him around here.
Yeah.
He's awesome dude. Calais Campbell, awesome dude. Reggie Wayne, Andre Johnson, Santana Moss. Even when I was at the U, if I have a good game or I do something, they're texting me or shout me out or something like that. So like you said, it's definitely family. They take care of you.
And the U is back right now, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
What is the back? What is the back meter? Where are we at? We're at all the way back now. The U's all the way back.
You guys are hiring
we
everybody
like,
in the sport.
No, not all the way back. What are we?
We on the way. We on the way
back.
We
On the way back. We're on our way. Do they make you? Is it like a mandate that when you're on Sunday Night Football or Monday Night Football and doing the headshot and you're saying your name like KJ Osborn? Do you have to say the U?
No, you don't have to. You can say whatever you want. Some guys say their high school name. Somebody try to shout somebody out.
What do you
say?
Like
that. I say the U.
You do.
I say it.
The U is the best one. Everyone's waiting for the first person to say the U.
What would you say if not the U? I guess you'd shout at your high school. Or
a lot of people don't know. I went to Buffalo first, the University at Buffalo. So I always got to give them credit. So that's my roots. I was there for 4 years.
Khalil Mack.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So if I didn't say Buffalo, or excuse me, if I didn't say the U, I'd definitely say Buffalo.
Did you play with Khalil Mack?
No, he was a little bit older than me.
Yeah.
Okay.
But he's a cool guy too. I stay connected with him.
Okay. I hate. What are your thoughts on the Super Bowl? What do we need to know about these two? We're mostly basketball guys. We watch the NFL. We watch a lot.
We love that everyone laughs at us.
Everybody laughs at when we say that. Yeah. What's your basketball game like?
I'm cool.
Cool,
It's like
yeah.
I'm more of a package. I would say maybe like a John Wall.
A John
Oh
Wall.
my
I'm
God.
like,
I like that. You're like, I'm all right. I'm like John Wall.
I mean, not literally, but like my play style. I like to get to the rim. Mid range, and I'm not like a super like shooter, but you feel me? I'll make an impact.
That was always my favorite day, like when the football team would come in and then they would start shooting around, like while we're getting ready for practice.
Yeah.
You're like, look at these guys.
Yeah.
You guys just play football. That's what ends up happening. It's like the football dudes just start
hitting each other.
They start running with the basketball.
I did some basketball training last year in my off season. I'm about to go back, and it's funny that I say John Wall. He's the same guy that the trainer who's down there in Miami that I train with. So I might actually get to meet him.
There you go. I'm from North Carolina, so I love John Wall.
Yeah, of course.
You gotta do John Wall.
Yeah.
Who's the best? This is probably a very bad question, so we can just keep it moving if it's a bad one. Who's the best football player at basketball that you've ever seen?
Ooh.
Football player at basketball that I've ever seen.
Like the guy, of all the guys. I don't know. That's a bad question.
Maybe that you played
That's a bad
with.
question.
that I play with. I don't know. I will have to think. Tristan Jackson is good. He's a receiver for the Vikings. I think he played at Syracuse as well.
Oh, okay.
But I know that he's good. There's some. I know. I'm sure there's somebody off the top of my head. I just can't think. JJ is pretty good. Justin Jefferson. He's pretty good.
Yeah.
Guys that I play with.
What's the weather whiplash like to go from Buffalo to Miami to now Minnesota?
Man, it was crazy. And really, it's funny because it was even more because I went to IMG for high school at my senior year.
So you was Miami
and I'm
to
from
Buffalo
Michigan though.
Oh,
so I went from Michigan to IMG to Buffalo to Miami back to Minnesota. So I can't get out.
You can never get
so
away.
I can't get away.
Oh my God.
I can't get away. But I'm from the north, but I don't like the snow. I'd rather be in the sunshine all day, every day.
Can we just talk about that Vikings team a little bit? Because you guys have so much talent. Obviously, such a great. I mean, we went to the stadium in 2019 for the Final Four, so we saw how amazing it is. So playing in that building, playing in front of those fans, with the skull chant and everything, how great is it just to be a Minnesota Viking? And how excited are you for the future?
Man, I love it. I think it's the best organization in the world. It's the best stadium in the world. Now I say that, I'm going into year 3, but as I've been traveling around, seeing different stadiums, like it's just nothing like ours. It's nothing like that skull chant. The national anthem is sweet.
It gives you goosebumps.
Definitely. And you see, I'll kind of peek across at the other team, like when we're doing the skull chant, you see them looking around. They're like, oh, yeah, this is sweet. It's fun. I love it. So we got a new coach coming and, new GM, so fresh start. Like you said, we got so much talent on the team, so I'm really excited for it.
Thank God you weren't at Minnesota the year that they had to play at the when they were building the stadium.
Right.
Yeah. Play outside.
That was crazy.
KJ, I grew up a Vikings fan, believe it or not. I'm not even from Minnesota. I'm from Indiana. But my family had a personal relationship with Chris Carter. So I loved watching him, and I grew up loving the Vikings. I watched every Vikings game. They ripped my heart out all the time. And then when Brett Favre threw the interception in New Orleans in 2009 in the NFC Championship, I was done. And I'm no longer a Vikings fan. Yeah. So
we want you back.
How do I get back? What's the path back? How do I? Because I'm getting asked when I'm walking around here because I'm from Indy. So people are like, "Are you a Colts fan?" I'm like, "Not really." And then I lived in Ohio for a while, and people are like, "Do you like the Bengals?" I don't have a fan. I don't have a team, honestly. But the Vikings are the one team that I've ever felt anything for. But most of the time, I just felt heartbreak, and I want to feel that again, KJ.
So you're still a fan if we affect you. You're just sad right now. So we just got to do something to make you feel happy. That's all.
I really did. I had the moment because when Favre was on the Vikings and Adrian Peterson, they were very good.
Right.
I don't know. You probably were 4 years old at the time. And I remember he threw the interception, and then I was just like, I don't know why I do this to myself. I can't do this anymore. And I haven't watched it forever, and now you're on the show, and maybe this is what I needed. Maybe I'll be back, Tate. Maybe I'm a Viking.
I'm fired up for you. I think you should come back.
We'll accept you in open arms.
All right.
One last thing, KJ. We judged a dunk contest back in 2019 with a fellow Minnesota Vikings player. His name's Dalvin Cook, and we had a great time with Dalvin.
I forgot we did that. I
consider him a close friend.
Tell Dalvin what's up.
Yeah, can you tell him hello from us?
I'm sure Dalvin.
Okay, I'll tell him.
I forgot we did that. Is that it?
Yeah, that's all I got.
KJ, thanks, man. Appreciate it. Enjoy the Super Bowl experience. We want you to be playing as a diehard Minnesota Vikings fan who has rekindled my love today.
We're back.
Next year we're going to be playing. We, you and I, and all of Vikings Nation.
The pejorative we.
Cool, baby. All right,
let's go, man. Appreciate
it. KJ.
Thank you.
All right, joining us now is broadcaster extraordinaire.
Yes.
Suzy Schuster.
Legend. The word is legend.
Legend. Right. Yes, we apologize. We legend.
She has a podcast called Just Getting Started, which is actually not true at all because how many seasons of this thing we've done? It's not.
I think this is going into the 3rd season.
Yeah. So not just getting started, but that's okay. But
we're off to a great start.
We're off to the best start.
We're off to a great. Hey, what I got to ask you this: you won an Emmy, correct?
I did. My husband did not, in case you were wondering.
Whoa. Oh, I like that.
Whoa, how about that?
Sometimes I walk into his office and I scratch my head with it, and act like it's just a pointer.
Suzy, for those who don't know, married to Rich Eisen, who maybe. He's famous for a lot of things, but one of the things he's famous for is running the 40-yard dash in a suit. I'm curious, as someone who's married to him, when you see him do that, does that make you more or less attracted to him?
So that's a really great question. We have finally found a sport that he's better at than me, and it pisses me off. Okay. He is a really good tennis player.
Oh, wow.
And it's so irritating because I'm I'm from New England, so I'm a red ass. I'm very competitive. And I'm pretty much good at every sport, but he can beat me at tennis, and it really bothers me. So when Rich started running, and it was Terrell Davis's idea, they were sitting there up above in Indy watching some kids run, and TD said, "What do you think you can run it at?" And I don't think he asked Rich that thinking he would run fast. I think it's like the Jewish thing where it's like you don't play the sport, you call it.
Right.
And let's just say that Rich hadn't done a whole lot of sprinting previously to that. And so I'm not going to lie. It's a little bit like when you're watching people skiing and you watch the Austrian bump team go down a run. You're like, hey, let me see if I can get down to the bottom of that run. Watching Rich sprint for the first time, I can't say it was the highlight of our career. of our marriage together, but I'll tell you what was watching him turn it into the fundraising machine that he has.
Yeah.
Yes.
And watching the kids react to him.
Yes.
That's pretty sexy.
There you go.
See, that's what we were talking about, Susie. We were like, it may not be the best, from the optic standpoint, but everything that surrounds it really checks out.
The confidence.
So,
the fact that he has the confidence to do it, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that all.
Yeah, my whole thing, my whole raison d'etre is like, if you have a platform and you don't use it, what a total waste, right? So the fact that he had the balls to do it, I think Rich gets a lot of the, hey, you're bald, really? A lot of that stuff. Like, he gets some jokey things from the guys, and they like to tease him. Last week or the week before, he out-caught Michael Irvin, who's got the world's biggest hands on the set at NFL Network, and he was like, he called me up, he's like, you're not going to believe this, I beat Michael. Like, you did what? But the point is that if you're going to have a platform, the fact that he could turn the joke into millions and millions of dollars for St. Jude is pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Absolutely.
And you have to have the balls to try, right?
Right.
Yes.
Right. We this is our first time on Radio Row, by the way, and you, as we said, you've won an Emmy. You are a legend. You're a veteran of this game.
Oh, you don't have to call me that. That's so nice. Thank you.
What? We need some advice. What the hell are we doing here? What is this?
You guys should leave and go to Vito's Pizza and get lunch. What a waste of time sitting in Radio Row. Just leave and get some really good food. If you were smart, you'd set up at Vito's. And the pizzas are so good. I'll tell you right now, Kurt Warner would come and he would do an interview with
the
you
American
for at least
Underdog.
an hour. He would talk about his movie. He'd talk about, winning the Super Bowl, as long as you had Vito's Pizza. So I think your problem is where you are. Because everyone goes through those interviews. They usually stink. They're all like pushing like deodorant or some beer you're never going to drink.
A lot of sleep number.
And they say the same thing. Yeah, awful.
Because we're looking around and like we're not like those other girls. That's like our whole attitude. It's like we want this interview to be fun. We want you guys to enjoy it, but there's no winning, and we just come across as desperate. Like these guys are coming to talk to us, and we're just like, please like us, please.
Yeah. You're like, hi, Cam. Can you please, Cam Jordan? Can you please be my friend? Because you're so big and you'll get me into every bar or nightclub there is. Yeah. And Cam's like, no. Sorry, Double T, you're out.
Susie, can we ask? I mean, we're obviously, in the sports, media business, but it has changed so much. And like when we were younger, guys, like Rich Eisen, Dan Patrick, Stuart Scott. I mean, that's who Titus and I looked up to. And you wanted to be like a Sports Center anchor. And same to you. I mean, you too. I mean, the whole group of those sportscasters. And it's changed so much, since even like 2000 to now in the past 20 years. So what is the biggest thing that you've seen shift from when you were first starting out to what it is now in the sports media landscape?
I mean, 100%, it's no longer about personalities, right?
Yeah.
I mean, when Rich was doing SportsCenter with Stuart and Dan and Keith, it was about the personalities that are out there. And they would write their own things. Everything that you ever saw on SportsCenter, the anchors wrote themselves.
Yes.
So you really got a sense of their personalities. People don't write anymore. All they do is get on TV and argue with each other. And who wants that? It's so boring.
I'm over it.
Yeah, I mean, the fact of the matter is, and this is one thing I always remember from SportsCenter, Rich would always love to put a word in that somebody had to look up. Because he always said, like, I want to challenge people to, think of things differently or learn a new vocabulary word. Keith Overman would write, and it was just so deep and awesome. And you got to know the anchors because of how they wrote. Now it's just, 3 seconds to a highlight, or it's a screaming match. And so you don't really care about the personalities. I dare you to name me 5 SportsCenter anchors. I dare you. So
Dan Patrick, Rich. We start naming all the guys.
No, I mean, that's my point. It's like, who? I mean, who are they? Obviously Hannah Storm. Okay, I'm on the spot. Linda Cohn is still there. God
right?
bless her.
Yeah.
Greatest.
But these are like legacy picks, you know what I mean? Like they're not. It's not like.
Well, there
new,
you go.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like who are the new people? I don't get it. So I think that we've lost the personality of people. I think what happened was SportsCenter, they didn't want the guys to become such big personalities because they were probably afraid they'd make more money off of them.
Too big of stars.
They'd leave and have their careers explode, which is what happened to all these guys.
When I met Rich in 1997. the 6:30 Sports Center was Robin Roberts, Bob Lee, and Charlie Steiner. The 11 was Dan and Keith. At 2 a.m. was Stuart and Rich.
Yes.
And then it was like Linda and Kenny and different people in the wings. I mean, that was epic.
Yeah. I had one last question for you before you go. When John Madden passed away, your husband shared a tweet of I forget who it was that put out this picture of a younger you. I guess all pictures are younger versions of ourselves. That's how it works. But you were with John Madden in his apartment. The story goes that you took like the Madden Cruiser bar hopping that night. Is there what is the story behind this? How did this happen?
So all roads lead to Rome. All stories start with Leslie Visser. I was her intern when I was in college, and still close to this day. And she was the ringleader of all women who got into sports broadcasting. And she used to take the Madden Cruiser once a year, and we'd go bar hopping in Manhattan. So we went and met John at the Dakota, which is, of course, the most famous building in New York, where John Lennon lived and where he was shot outside of it in Strawberry Fields. Anyway, Madden had the most incredible apartment downstairs in the entry of this iconic building. And so we all met there, and he had wine and cheese for us. We all got on the bus, got loaded, and went to bars all night. It was the greatest thing in the world. So talk about. I mean, I looked at that picture, and I mean, I'm not sure who that was with the fat face, but it was a pretty epic way to get involved with the women of sports. And that's like, I look back at, like, I hate to say it, let me bring it full circle. That's when I was just getting started. That's when I was trying to make my way into the business. So that's why this podcast is so much fun, because it takes me back to when people got their start. Yesterday I taped Jeffrey Ross, the comedian, and talked to him about how he got started and how he got the balls to become the comedian that he is today. Stephen A. Smith is up next. Michael Irvin is doing it. Gwyneth Paltrow is doing it. How's that for out of left field?
And
Paul Rudd, Jason Bateman. He said when he recovers from his from overhearing his own voice, he's joining us. So we're going to have a lot of fun guests on Just Getting Started. So I hope you guys will subscribe and tune in.
And that right there is why she's a broadcast legend.
Such a pro.
Did you see how that,
what a full
brought
circle.
That full circle. Yeah. Susie, thanks so much for joining us.
Huh?
Just Getting Started is a podcast.
Legend.
God bless you. We're going to do our best to go try to make these NFL players like us. So
guys, go to Vito's Pizza. It's
All right.
so much better than Radio Row.
Yeah,
Goodbye.
thank you, Susie.
See you, Susie. All right, joining us now is a man who's in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I think it begins and ends there when you make an introduction like that, Tate. I think once you're in the Hall of Fame, that's all you have to say. Is his name is LaDainian Tomlinson. LT, how often do you wear the jacket? I'm curious about that.
Not often, man. I mean, you got to pay money for me to wear the jacket these days.
Oh, really?
No, I'm just kidding. But no, I think sometimes special events, people want to see the jacket, and you wear it to these special events. I would say now, I mean, gosh, man, I've been in the hall, a few years now. And so early on, man, I was wearing that thing around the house. I was, at the kitchen table eating dinner, wearing the jacket. But now, you kind of just wear it every now and then and keep that thing covered up.
Yeah, yeah. Did your bus turn out okay? I can't remember. That's always something that cracks me up when you get the bus made of your face. And I imagine some guys look at it and they're like, what the hell was that?
Yeah, they're like, that's not me. Yeah.
Did yours turn out okay?
No, mine was great.
Okay.
Yeah, mine really turned out great. But the problem with a lot of guys is, man, when you're sitting, you have to sit there for hours. And you have to be still while these guys sculpting, this bust. And, some guys can't stand still and, moving around and whatnot. And then they get a messed up bust. That's kind of what happens sometimes.
You just got to be still. That's the best advice that LT can give you. And LT, we have a lot of football. I mean, we've had guys rotate in and out that we've talked to today, but there's something to be said about someone that's a natural at the game of football. And is it true that at the age of 9 in Pop Warner, the first time that you were given the football, you scored a touchdown?
That feels like it's just like...
That feels like something out of a fairy tale.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, man, it's absolute truth. And I'll play quarterback, and so I just ran a quarterback sweep, kind of a rollout type of play to the right, and there I went down the sideline for a touchdown. And that's kind of like Like, you can't make that stuff up. Like, that was my introduction to football. Now, obviously, I had played, with my older brothers and cousins, and they used to rough me up in the front yard and whatnot. And so I wasn't, it wasn't like, this was new to me. So I guess it was the first time playing organized football, I should say. But, yeah, that is a true story.
I love that.
I need you to help us settle a debate that's been going on for decades with running backs. I'm a '90s kid. I know you're a little bit older than me, LT, but I think you grew up, or you're certainly young enough to appreciate both Barry Sanders and Emmitt Smith. Now you're from Texas, so I could see you being more Emmitt Smith because of the Cowboys, like having the Texas connection. But your playing style reminded me more of Barry Sanders. So where were you? If you had to, when you look back on it, who are you going with, Barry or Emmitt?
Yeah, that's a tough one for me, man. Both of these guys were heroes for me, idols. And I'll tell you a funny story. So when I was choosing my number 21, obviously growing up, those were my two favorites. Emmitt Smith wore 22, Barry wore 20. And I couldn't decide when I got into the NFL if I wanted to pick 22 or 20. So guess what I did? I picked 21. I got right between them,
Wow.
Both of them were, two of my favorite guys, and I kind of modeled my game after both of them. There were certain things about both that I really appreciated that I tried to model my game after. And so, that's a tough one. I can't pick.
You literally could, this has been a struggle your entire life, is trying to decide between the two of them.
Seriously.
And now number 21's retired by the Chargers. And we do have to ask you about that a little bit too, because obviously you are, in my mind, when I think of the San Diego Chargers, I think of LT. I mean, that's what pops in my mind. And in 2006, I mean, you win the MVP, you win the Offensive Player of the Year, and you win the Walter Payton Man of the Year award, which is like, not only am I the best player on the field, but I'm the best person off the field.
I'll kick your ass and then shake your hand.
Exactly. You're like you're the best of the best. So like that time period, that moment in time, like how much, when you think about that, how surreal is it that you not only lived that life, but you were able to accomplish all those things in one season?
It was a really special year, and taking you beyond the field a little bit. The reason why it was even more special for me, because that was the last year that my father was alive. So he got to see my greatest year ever. Like his son, he rested peacefully, I'm sure, once he passed, knowing that, hey, his son has done something that not many people have the chance to do. But, I felt like, for me, it was all a part of being a professional, like trying to, and that's the hard thing sometimes about athletes is compartmentalizing being, when you're supposed to be, a football player and be mean and, handle your business on the field. But once you take those pads off and that helmet, then the transition happens to being a regular human being, and being a good one. So, I think that's the part of it for me that I learned from guys like the late Junior Seau, he was in, when I first got to San Diego, that's the guy that I looked up to. Like, he was in my locker room. I followed this guy around, the locker room and meeting rooms and whatnot, like picking his brain about how do you be a great professional, on the field and off the field.
LT, one thing that is interesting to me as I think back on, growing up watching you play for the Chargers and everything, is that you had an iconic look with the visor and the 21 and the bolts on the, like, you are in a sport of football where it's like the NBA guys, we kind of all know what they look like because they don't wear helmets and we see their faces all the time. Football, by and large, it's like harder to always know what guys look like, and yet somehow you crafted an identity. The more you hid yourself, the more iconic it became.
The more people knew it was you.
So I guess my question is, when you decided to wear the visor, I don't know. I want to know the story behind the visor. Was it like a conscious decision that you're like, I look awesome, and every kid in the 90s is going to remember this for the rest of their lives? Or was there another reason that you became the visor guy? Because it's an iconic look that, like, frankly, guys are still trying to pull off now, and no one pulls off as well as you did.
Yeah, so this is the honest God truth, guys, why I started wearing this visor. So when I was young, one of my best friends, we collected football cards. And one of the things that we used to do was, make fun of guys in their still shot. Like when you look at these football cards, you see guys, picture Mike Singletary with the wide eyes.
It's like a Key and Peele sketch.
To kids, that looks so funny. Like, oh, he looks scared or whatever. We used to make fun of the way guys looked on football cards. And I promise you, I thought about that. Like, you know what? I don't want people seeing my eyes. I don't want them to know, what I'm thinking, or if I'm, got the wide eye look like Mike Singletary. So I'm gonna hide my identity.
I love that.
Mike Singletary.
Yeah, I love that Mike Singletary was the cautionary tale to get you to wear the visor. That's great.
Oh man. The other thing I wanted to ask you about is why don't we talk enough about how you threw 7 touchdown passes in your career?
People forget about it.
Are you aware that you have literally as many touchdown passes in your NFL career as Johnny Manziel did?
Oh my God! No.
You can take that one, LT. I know you're not going to use that on air, but in private you can tell people.
Yeah, tell your friends that.
You can tell people. You just be like, FYI.
I am Johnny Football.
People kind of forget about that part, right? You just kind of forget about the throwing the touchdowns until you kind of look in the record books of running backs of who has the most. You'll see Walter at the top with 8, and I'm right behind him with 7.
That's amazing.
But that was actually, one of my favorite plays because growing up, I did play quarterback for a lot of my youth.
You invented the RPO, I think. Yeah, that's what we're learning. LT he's the original RPO guy. Tell the people how we can follow you at Super Bowl. You're doing like the 8 on NFL Network. My understanding, they slid me a note that you're going to be doing an 8.5-hour pregame show. Is that right? Is there a restroom close by that you're going to be able to use?
Will they give you food, LT?
Well, I actually get to come in a little bit later. Those guys, they're going to be in early.
Okay.
At least I get to sleep a little bit. So I'm thinking maybe I can hang out a little bit more on Saturday night where they're going to have to take it in early.
Yeah.
Because typically Michael Irvin and those guys, they have to be up at 6 in the morning for that show. And I think I get to come in 11 or 12. So,
okay, that's perfect.
That's way better.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Hat tip to your agent for that one.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're real talent. That's how you get things handled, LT.
Thanks for joining us, man. Appreciate it. Best of luck. And thanks for making some time for us.
Absolutely, guys. Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Bobby, what are we doing? What are we doing at the Super Bowl? We love talking to all the guys, and everyone's kind of got a different agenda. Some people are here to plug stuff. Some people are here for the parties. What do we got going on this week?
What's top priority for you, Bobby?
I'm here for all the exposure, all the cool stuff. But really, Sunday I'm working with this company, Let's Hang Live. Sunday 3:30, watching with Deebo Samuel, Austin Ekeler, Shannon Sharp, a bunch of dudes. It's kind of this virtual space where fans get to come hang out with us. So it's Let's Hang.live, or you can get info on my Instagram.
Oh, all right. And what's it like, the fraternity of football players? Because you see it here at Super Bowl week. There's so many guys, may not have played for the same team, may not have gone to the same college, but there's just that bond, whatever it is. And obviously you guys are hanging out watching the Super Bowl together. What's that like?
Yeah, mutual respect. Football's a gladiator sport, so, you respect everybody who puts on a helmet and shoulder pads and goes there to battle. But, there's definitely a little bit of a starstruck element. Seeing LaShawn McCoy, I was like, okay.
Yeah, we just yell stuff out. We're like, shady.
Yeah, for real. So it's just a cool environment overall.
Love that.
Yeah, I feel like the NBA is. Are we worried about that? That the NBA, the guys are way too friendly with each other, and that's the big criticism. Should we as fans of sports be worried about are you
guys getting too chummy?
Are we getting too chummy? Is that a fear that the NFL might get a little too chummy?
Ooh, I do not think so. It's you got to be a mean guy to play football. So yeah. I don't think so.
how's your I'm from Indy. You play for the Colts, obviously.
Yeah.
As you might, the Indy became, when I was growing up, the Colts. I'm not a Colts fan. I don't hate the Colts. I like the Colts. I just want to be clear.
No offense.
The reason I didn't like the Colts growing up is because they were terrible, and that's how they got Peyton Manning in the first place. Because that was like my era, and then they got Peyton, and then I started watching, whatever. So it's become a Colts town, but it's obviously very basketball-driven state. How is your basketball game? How are you as a basketball player?
I stopped playing basketball in probably 8th grade, and I put all my talents into football.
If you had to play in a celebrity game at the NBA All-Star game, they were like, we want to throw you
who's
out
your
there.
player comp?
What's your stat line looking like in the NBA All-Star celebrity game? You're going up against Bieber. Bieber's guarding you.
I probably got like 4 or 5 steals.
All right.
I might have like 6 points, all of them layups.
Okay.
And I'll just
crash the glass.
Great hustle player, a couple rebounds.
All right.
All-star defense.
All right.
Man, I love that. And then the Colts also had Hard Knocks. This is the first time that Hard Knocks did an in-season version of the show, which was very different and unique. I liked watching it, enjoyed watching it. What was it like to have those cameras kind of come into the locker room for the rest of the year?
Yeah, it was interesting. We're used to cameras on the practice field and in games, so that nothing crazy. But what was interesting is, cameras up in the meeting room. Kind of where you come in, you take your backpack off, you're in a relaxed environment, but it's like, okay, like, are we on reality TV right now?
Yeah.
Cameras are rolling.
You're looking at producers, you're like, what am I supposed to be doing?
Did you get a sense that guys were hamming it up for the cameras? That they were trying to, like, there were guys that, like, aren't really leaders, but now all of a sudden the camera's there and they're like, come on, guys, and trying to give
Not
speeches
necessarily. Sometimes things got maybe a little speechy.
Yeah.
But, I think Coach Reich did a great job, and he really just kept us all focused on football.
How many times did a guy give a speech and then turn and say, I don't like that take, can we do that again? And I fumbled some of those words. Can we try that?
There were a couple times where, we're having story time or in the linebacker room, we talk about relationships, life, whatever, and, you cut to the camera and you're like, don't put this shit on Hard Knocks. So
yeah. That's funny. How do you like Indy?
I love Indy. It's very homey. Yeah.
Really? Are you just saying that, or do you?
No, I'm saying. I'm from Orange County. So coming to Indy, there's not crazy distractions, a lot of stuff to do.
Yeah.
But it keeps me focused.
We did the opposite. I grew up in India. I live out here now. So
yeah, you're living the life.
Where you live, Carmel?
No, I'm in Zionsville.
You're in Zionsville.
Yep.
I'm a Brownsburg guy.
Okay.
So there we go. Look at that, Tate.
I love to see the Indy connection.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. West Siders. Yeah. West Siders. There you go. What else we got for him?
Honestly, is there any prediction that you have for this game? Is there anything a lot of the guys we've asked are like, I'm casual fans. I don't really care. But do you have a vested interest in this game?
I'm rooting for Matthew Stafford.
I love that.
I think he's had a great story. I want to see him win the championship.
Joe Burrow doesn't have a great story. Interesting. Coming back from this torn. That's interesting. No,
he does.
I find it interesting. I know.
He does.
It's not as interesting as Matt Stafford.
Matthew Stafford. Never winning a playoff game.
Right.
His whole career with Detroit and coming here and the opportunity to win a Super Bowl.
The whiplash of going from living in Detroit and losing every single game to now living in LA and winning, might be winning a Super Bowl. Are you someone who gets bitter and petty and whatever else when you get knocked out of a Super Bowl contention to where you don't want to watch and you're like when you're watching the game, you're gonna watch the game Sunday?
I'll watch the game. Yeah.
And are you doing it of like? How's your mind frame of that? Like, as you're watching, are you like, we're better than these guys? How the hell did they make it? Because like a team like the Bengals, they weren't even that good. If we're being honest. So, like, does that happen in your mind, or are you just kind of like, whatever, we'll get them next year?
Nah, just respect for all the players. One of my good friends, Trent Irwin, he's on the Bengals.
Okay.
So, hoping he does well. But yeah, obviously they worked hard to get to this opportunity, so just respect.
That's big of you. I would not be that way, Tate.
I really like that answer, though. Bobby, you got it figured out.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us, man.
I do what I can.
Appreciate it. Enjoy the week, and hopefully we can get the Colts back here next year.
Yeah, next year in the Super Bowl.
Let's do it.
Nice.
Yeah, love it.
All right, man.
Thanks, Bobby.
All right, we're here with the man who needs no introduction, Coach O. Enough said. That's it, Coach O. This is very personal to me, and I'm probably wasting my access to you by asking this question, but I'm a Buckeye coach.
Gotcha.
And right now in Columbus, this is the talk.
A lot of controversy.
Joe Burrow is now playing for a Super Bowl. Now, Ohio State has never had like a good NFL quarterback, and a lot of people in Columbus want to not take Joe Burrow from LSU. We just want to like have a little piece, just a little
Share custody.
we want to take a little bit. Can you speak to that? Like if I as a Buckeye, I don't want to take, he's an LSU Tiger. I just want just a little piece. I just want to be proud of him. Am I allowed to do that?
For sure. Hey, I told over mine, I'd send him a national championship ring. I was happy. hey, y'all groomed him. You got him ready for us. We appreciate it.
I think that's the best way to approach it, Coach. And obviously, we enjoy all your energy. You're obviously a star in yourself. But what's it like being here at Super Bowl week and just being around this atmosphere?
I love it. Obviously, I spent 11 years in L.A.,
Yeah.
This is my first time to the Super Bowl. I'm usually recruiting.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I'm usually watching the game with recruits.
Yes.
So I'm excited to be here. I'm going to it. Joe gave me a ticket. I'm very appreciative. I've seen a lot of old friends, but it's a really, really first-class event. Can't wait to see it.
One of the things we're trying to do at Radio Row is ask people questions they're not getting asked. And it's tough with you because, like, what we want to talk about with you is obviously Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. But there's another guy on the Bengals that you coach, Tyler Shelvin.
Big T.
Yeah. So I'm gonna try to, like, swerve where everyone else, like, so you don't have to answer another Joe Burrow.
Leave those
Jamar
other two
Chase.
alone.
Yeah. What about Tyler Shelvin? Tell us about him. What do we need to know about him?
Big T comes from a great family in Lafayette, Louisiana. I was the first coach to offer him as a sophomore.
Wow.
Big T, Big T loves to play, but he also loved to go eat at McDonald's late at night. I love that. I love his family. He's a great athlete. The game he had against Alabama, I think it was his junior year, was phenomenal. Short area quickness, quick twitch, but he had a problem keeping his weight down.
Yeah.
But he's a fantastic young man. The first call I got after the championship, the AFC championship, was from his grandma. There was 50 people in Lafayette at the party. Big T's going to Super Bowl, man. Everybody fired up. Big T's a tremendous player, a great young man.
Wow. And Coach O, you have such a relationship with your players, obviously, and that goes back to recruiting. Can you just talk about recruiting in general in college football? Because it's changed so much. I mean, I'm from North Carolina.
Yeah.
Titus is from Indianapolis.
Yeah.
We've seen the NIL stuff. How much has it changed in the past 20 years just for you as a coach?
I think the day of the handwritten letter be important is over, boys.
Yeah.
The ring's on the table. I don't know if that helps either.
I think it's all going to be NIL. And I don't, let me say, it's not going to be all NIL.
Yeah.
But that's going to get you in the door. I think at the end, it's going to be relationships. It's going to be your program, how well you're going to coach and development.
Yeah.
And develop the guys. But I think that should be for the great players. Some guys are going to be all about the money. I don't know how much success those guys are going to have.
Yeah.
But if you're smart, you're going to go to a team that's going to give you the right NIL deal, but is also going to develop you. Because I don't think there's an NIL deal that's going to give you first-round draft money. I don't think it's going to.
No, I don't think it's possible.
We're primarily college basketball coach, which I know makes no sense because we're at the Super Bowl. So you're like, why? We don't really know either. We're just trying not to. But we on our show love Will Wade. Do you have any relationship with Will Wade? Do you know anything about Will Wade? Is there anything you can tell?
Is there a story that you have?
I feel like there's a perception, and you fall victim to this, or maybe you're not victim, but it might be the right word. But like there's a media perception of who he is, kind of like what the media does with you, and like you're turned into like something that might not be reality.
Yeah.
So we know the media version of Will Wade. Is there something else we should know about him based on, your interactions with the guy?
Within the athletic department, known as a very intelligent coach.
Yeah.
Very progressive, great recruiter.
Okay. All right.
I love that. That's a straightforward answer. And, Coach, we always talk about this in college sports. Is it a football school? Is it a basketball school? That's always the argument we have on our show. Is L.A. a football town or a basketball town, in your opinion?
Baseball town.
Or
Dodgers.
A baseball town.
Yeah, it's a sports town. I don't think.
I like that answer.
That's the one thing I liked about L.A. There's not going to be a dominant sport to me in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Now, if you ask me about USC, that's a different story.
Yeah, I like that.
All right, so this is your first Super Bowl. How much of this? I mean, obviously you got the players in the Super Bowl, but how much of it is that the Super Bowl is in LA that makes it a little easier to come to this one versus?
Makes it a lot easier.
Yeah.
I like the weather. I like to come back.
Yeah. We'll see. Like moving forward, if you keep going to these Super Bowls, or if you look up and you're
we'll
like,
see when it's in Cleveland or something like that. If we see Coach O.
Yeah. Channel 6.
Coach, thanks for making time for us. We appreciate it.
Thank you guys. Go Bengals.
There we go. All right, joining us now is a man that we used to work with, a former Ringer colleague. We caught him. He just hung up the phone with Al Michaels, and he's on his way out the door to go hit the beach. But he made enough time to stop.
He had to go call Collinsworth in a second, but he said he'd give us 10 minutes before he had to do that.
His name is Bryan Curtis, and I mean this sincerely. He is one of 2 or 3 people at the Ringer that I respect. And I do mean that, Bryan. I do.
Wow.
I do. So it's great to have you.
Thanks, guys.
Joining us. We need your help because you are the media expert, obviously.
Okay.
We are not. We are on Radio Row, and we're not really sure what we're doing here, Bryan. What are we supposed to be doing? How do we win at this?
Were you selling something?
We wish that we were selling sleep numbers. I think that is where we want to be. We asked Zach Ertz how we get there, and he just laughed at us and then walked away.
Because that's a Radio Row move, right? You go booth by booth, table by table. You do 8 minutes. So we're talking about podcasting, talk college basketball, and then the host does this. So what are you doing with fill in the corporate name?
Yeah.
Yes.
So what are you doing with, and then you do 2 minutes of plug.
Yes.
Next table.
That's it.
You're
okay.
good.
I love that.
So
I think we figured it out.
Is it our job as the host to bring it up, or do we let them bring it up?
Well, that's the thing. The guests get
plug.
nervous. I heard this all week from the radio hosts here.
Yeah.
So some of them do the plug at the very beginning.
Oh,
because then everybody takes a deep breath.
And then
nobody's watching the clock.
Yeah, thank God we got that over with. Thank God.
Yeah, Brian, like we said, you're the media expert, so we know how it works in the press box, right? I mean, if you're a beat reporter, you don't clap. You know, there's some things that you don't do that are just sort of like inherent rules of being a part of the press. So when you're here at Media Row at the Super Bowl, is there anything like media related that we need to know that's like an underlying secret? Like, don't go bother Jim Rome. You know what I mean? When he's doing a live set or something like that.
Yeah, don't climb on any radio host set. Is generally, and that applies to Titus and Tate as well. Nobody, I don't see anybody out here actually. But
I hope no one climbs on the set.
The clapping is interesting because the McAfee set has been just nonstop clapping all week.
That's new, right? Like that. I've never seen that in a media type set. When you think about the press box, right? This is like let's take the press box, and this is more like an open field of the press box.
Yeah,
I didn't think I'd ever see this, but I like it. I enjoy it.
Kind of more of a flea market than a press box, don't you think?
Speaking of along those lines, we were talking about this on a show we did not too long ago. Obviously, you can't cheer in a press box. That's a rule. But we were thinking of going to some Duke games and getting credentialed and booing Coach K. And then we had a debate. Is booing allowed? Because I've never heard anybody with their stance on that. Is booing allowed?
Booing in the press box.
Yeah, no. I've never heard anybody say you're not allowed to boo. You're just not allowed to cheer.
But can you boo?
And I think you're onto something
because we heckle Coach K,
we want the press to be critical and skeptical.
You get more respect.
So if I'm booing, if I'm in camera and I'm booing the coach, I'm just being skeptical.
Yes,
I'm not.
I'm doing my job.
This is not opinion. I'm just. I'm a journalist.
I approve.
This is
Media critic approves.
This is journalism. It's just heckling from the crowd. What are storylines? You love storylines. You love Super Bowl storylines.
I do. Okay.
What are people? What's the buzz? What's the chatter other than like I'm kind of getting sick of hearing the quarterback stuff. I mean,
Stafford,
we
Burrow.
get it. Stafford was at Detroit. We get it. Burrow is the chosen one. All that kind of thing. Is there any other sort of like grandiose chatter around this Super Bowl? Is there any narratives that are forming or anything?
I think the secret is that there are none. That it's like two teams we don't really have opinions about.
Yeah.
And I'm speaking broadly here as the American sporting populace, right? If Mahomes was back, we'd say, Mahomes.
Yeah.
Brady was back, we'd say, Brady. But we don't really have Rams and Bengals takes.
Right.
So we're excited. It's a Super Bowl. It's new. These are newish teams, even though the Rams were there a couple of years ago. But I think that's the take, is that it's imagine a Final Four, you're like, I don't have anything. It's not Duke. It's not
no
UNC.
blue bloods.
I don't have any. Yeah, no blue bloods. That's
well, then the follow-up to that, when it happens in the Final Four, is this good for the sport? Is it good to have, if the Bengals win, is that actually good? What was the Bengals, 10-7 this year, I think? If they win on like a miraculous run, it's a fun story, but does
it move the needle?
Does it move the needle? Does America actually get excited about that?
So let me answer the question. It is pro football at all, any game. So yes, the needle.
It's good.
I don't know if you guys caught the last couple weeks. Kind of a big deal.
Yeah,
kind of a bigger deal than the Winter Olympics. Kind of a bigger deal than the Oscar nominations this week, right?
Yeah.
It's pro football. It doesn't matter.
Barely bigger than college basketball, though. People forget this.
Yeah.
Barely bigger.
You think Texas KU kind of pushed the Super Bowl aside there for a couple hours?
You are a Longhorn. How do you feel about Chris Beard so far?
Oh, that's a good question.
I feel pretty good.
Yeah.
I feel pretty good. I'm the part of the problem.
Yeah.
Because I like basketball. But when I was down there, was I going to a whole lot of basketball games?
Not.
I'm what Chris Beard's talking about. We got to get those students in here every night. What was I doing? I was at every football game, but I wasn't at every basketball game.
Also, I have said this a million times that I think Texas, University of Texas, you're too cool to be good at basketball. That like exactly what you said. Like the students don't necessarily want to go. The great example is that Chris Beard goes back to Texas Tech. The Tech fans are just going nuts. They hate him. They boo him. They kick Texas's ass. And then it felt like Texas fans just kind of shrugged and were like, that's weird that they care that much. And, like, that's kind of the attitude. It's like, why do you guys care so much? And I think that's frustrating because I want Texas to care. I can't envision a scenario where Texas basketball fans are upset and booing and going crazy and all that kind of stuff.
Did you see right after the KU game though? We kind of semi-rushed the floor.
Oh yeah,
it was a 1 foot in.
Yeah, it was like 50 people.
Yeah.
It wasn't 10,000. It was like 50. Yeah. So we were like, ooh, we're a basketball. Is this what we do?
Yeah.
You could tell. It was a little feeling out process.
Yeah, it was a little bit different. Can I ask you about Texas Tech fans? Because
sure.
We had one of the greatest games of the season in college basketball. Chris Beard comes back to Texas Tech, and obviously it's a moment in time. The Red Raiders fans are going crazy. They're like, we hate UT. They don't even call it Texas because it's offensive to their own state. How do you feel about Texas Tech as a Texas alum? Are they out of?
Give us the rivalry. Yeah, the rivalry rankings.
Because Lubbock's in the middle of nowhere. We know that.
Yeah. So for Texas fans, they're down, right? So you're going Oklahoma.
Yes.
And
Number
then
one.
A&M, even though that kind of doesn't it doesn't exist, and it's still right here.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
And then I think just last
Texas
couple.
A&M gets under your skin. Like it doesn't feel like Texas Tech does.
So there's the big football thing, right?
Yeah,
the big last play of the game, or almost last play of the game from a couple years, 2008. That's still big. So there's a lot of animosity, and Southwest Conference animosity.
Yeah,
that was big animosity, right?
I miss the Southwest
that was
Conference.
Booster animosity, right?
Yeah. That's like, well, yeah. How much you pay
80s,
this guy?
Yeah, 80s animosity. But I would say. There's a lot more hate from the other side.
Yeah,
of course.
Yeah,
of course. And
it
of course, you
feels
steal the
strange.
coach. I mean, I don't blame him for being mad.
Yeah.
I mean, it got a lot. It was a lot.
There were guns being pulled in the arena.
No, I'm not in favor. I don't blame him for being mad though.
I love that. I feel like we understand it now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Texas, you guys, you're kind of like above the fray there. You're
I
understand it, but you're like, you guys are taking shots.
I went to the
you're not
Texas Oklahoma State football game this year in Austin, and Texas was do you remember the game this year where Texas was up and then just kind of choked it away?
That one?
You remember that one?
Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah.
And I was doing this thing where we were going around to campuses, and I was pretending to be a fan of like every school I was at just for the day, just to see what it felt like, whatever. So I'm like a Texas fan for the day. And I'm watching this lead choke away, and I'm standing actually on the Oklahoma State sideline, and they're all like high-fiving each other. Mike Gundy's, there's a whole scene, and I'm losing my mind, and I'm like, I can't believe this is happening. And the Texas fans, maybe they're just like used to it at this point, but I couldn't believe how much they were just cool, and they were just like, whatever. Arch Manning's on a visit, so I guess that's good. Like we're gonna be okay.
We lost
Austin's
for Arch
cool.
Manning. Oh well.
We got good tacos. We're gonna go have in Austin, and like the whole vibe. I was like, how are you guys not like burning cars based on what just happened? And that's when I was like, I think Austin is just too cool. This university is too cool. Matthew McConaughey's too cool. And we need. How do we make it less cool? I think that's what we need.
How do we heat it up?
You're so right. And I'm kind of old. So I was there kind of, I don't want to say I was before Austin was cool, because Austin was always cool.
Yeah.
But before it had the kind of MTV late 90s. Then
South by Southwest
South by
vibes.
really blew up. And even then it felt like that.
Yeah.
And it's not, I don't think it's too cool. It's just kind of like, I don't know, it's a vibe more than an intensity, right? And people really care about Longhorn football. I say as a 20-year member of my rivals board, I mean, like, look at those guys, and they're fired up, right?
Yeah.
They're ready to go. But I'm like, there's just, it doesn't drive people insane in the same way.
Yeah.
Do you think when they go to the SEC and it just means more, that that'll actually translate to you guys? Will it mean more when Texas goes there?
I'm not sure about this whole SEC thing.
I know, I'm not either.
I don't
Especially
like it.
a Southwestern Conference staple.
I don't
to
like
then
it.
go to the Southeastern Conference. It feels icky.
Just there's a directional problem there,
it
right?
doesn't make any sense.
Are we
Brian.
in the Southeast?
Yeah.
Are we in the South? That was always a weird thing in Texas too.
Yeah, that
some
was
people
always the
think
argument.
yes, some people think no.
Yeah.
I was never in favor of this. I was fine with. I don't say I was fine with the Big 12. Was anybody really fine with the Big 12 football wise? Basketball wise, okay,
Pretty solid.
Yeah.
But when that happened, I was like, I guess we're the winners, quote unquote, of this whole sweepstakes. But what if I won, but I don't love it? I'm not happy I won.
You won at what cost?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But at what cost?
At what cost? Is that it? What do you have to plug, Brian? Plug
I got
everything.
nothing.
Plug everything.
I got
the
press
press box.
What am I doing with the press box? Is that what you want to ask me now?
I want to plug that because, Brian, you remember, this is like now 6 years ago when the press box started. We were doing narrative podcasts. You were writing scripts. I mean, it was.
We stole your producer, didn't we? Wasn't Jim
We did.
Jim, our
my
producer
God.
Jim was your producer. In
But
the
he
press
still
box?
texts me all the time.
Oh, my God.
Even more than when we worked together.
Yeah.
Never seen this effort out of Jim. It's unbelievable.
I know.
Working harder than ever, aren't you, Jim?
The most terrifying thing that can happen in your life is you get a text from Jim that's just like, "Hey, can we talk?
Can you talk?
Can you talk?" And you're like, "Oh, Jesus."
You're like, what do we do?
There goes the next 2 hours of my day.
Oh my God. Yeah, press box still going on twice a week with David Shoemaker.
Oh, I love Shoemaker.
Another core ringer guy.
Yep.
My friend since we were
not
14
someone
years
that Mark
old.
respects.
No,
not one of the three.
He's not. He's not.
We just didn't know him that well. Great guy. Twice a week press box, and I write stuff. And
There you go.
I'm happy.
You just wrote a new Al Michaels story. If you haven't read it, go check it out. TheRinger.com. Bryan Curtis, great writer, great media personality, great person.
Al Michaels.
Someone
What's the Al Michaels? I'll go read it. Obviously, I have already read it, but for our listeners,
just so I can recap it in my own words. Yeah.
You're like LeBron when he gets asked about the book he's reading.
Well, you guys tell me who's the college basketball or college equivalent of this? Perfect announcer. Letter perfect, gets a down and distance right, gets everything right, but then at the same time says to you, winkingly on the air, I'm not that guy. I'm not the blow-dried TV guy. I'm cool, right? I know the over/under. I'm gonna make a joke here and there. I'm gonna.
It's kind of like Billis being the very obvious Duke guy that's like so straight and like nothing gets Billis more excited than getting to go on an emergency hit on ESPN to talk about like a NCAA case or something that like he can flex his lawyer muscles. So he's like that guy, but then he likes to tweet the Jeezy lyrics.
And be the cool guy.
And show off his sneakers. And he's like, I do know law. I do have a law degree from Duke, but I also wear sneakers. How cool is that?
Yeah, Billis does have a little bit of that duality.
I
think SVP has it too. You know what
SVP
I mean?
a little bit.
He can be cut and dry, but also he's like, I'm having fun. I love Maryland. You know what I mean?
I'm not the man from TV land, right? I'm also. I'm like you.
Yes.
Yeah. Is this Al Michaels' last Super Bowl? Is that what they're saying?
We think so. We think it might be.
Yeah.
He'll still going to go to Amazon or something, but he might not be in the Super Bowl rotation. TBD.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Well, that's the big story then.
I feel like if you're a team like how Musburger went to Vegas and kind of set up shop there with the Raiders, I feel like someone should do that with Al Michaels.
Oh my God, can you imagine?
Like that
would be here in LA. He's an LA guy. He's Brentwood.
Explain.
He's Brentwood everything.
We work at Fox with Gus Johnson, and he calls games. We work directly with him. We're very close personal friends with him, and we work on projects together all the time. No, he works at Fox now, and Bill has been on this, but like this is a huge thing in the college basketball communities. How do we get Gus Johnson to call games in the NCAA tournament? You understand how media contracts and all this stuff works. Why is it that Bill Raftery? So I'm not trying to get Gus Johnson away from Fox. We love him at Fox. But Bill Raftery works at Fox as well and calls games with Gus Johnson, and then he'll also call NCAA tournament games.
See, that's what I don't understand.
How is that okay? But then Gus can't. I don't get it. Should we just give up the dream at this point?
Whose services can be borrowed and whose can't?
Yes.
Because
how does that work?
Charles Barkley's services can seemingly be borrowed by anybody.
Yes.
He's on the first episode of every sports show. Have you noticed that? Did he do your premiere too?
I think so. And then Bob Costas is like, I'm coming back. Barkley's on it. Yeah, I mean, that's a great point.
That would be great though if we could do a little borrowing. I'm for more borrowing actually.
Yeah. We are borrowers. We like to borrow.
We will borrow.
We're borrowing you right now. I mean, this has been great.
Yeah. And we'll borrow.
Gus is great.
We can't wait to get the return invite thing on the phone.
We got to go in the press box. Can we go in the press box?
Here we go. I'm
Bryan Curtis.
Let me check the schedule, guys.
Gotta go hit the beach. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Bryan.
We are here with what'd you call him, Tate? NFL royalty, NFL legend,
NFL legend, and Hard Knocks legend, Adam Pacman Jones.
Hard Knocks legend.
You are. I mean, one of the biggest stars of Hard Knocks in history, honestly.
Yeah, I was on back-to-back, too. Dallas and Cincinnati.
Oh, my God. Cincinnati especially was the one that really sticks out to me. But Pacman Jones, obviously, we grew up watching you. You were a star in the NFL, and we appreciate you sitting down with us, man. How's Radio Row going for you?
Man, Radio Row it's been nice, man. Talk the games, promote your podcast, meet different people, see different opinions, try to learn something from a couple of people, and talk football.
I'm sure you're put in a position where you're supposed to cheer for the Bengals because you're so synonymous with the Bengals. But does any small part of you think to yourself, like, man, we couldn't win a Super Bowl when I was there. I don't want these bum-ass dudes to win now.
No, man.
Like, we were better. Our teams were better than these guys.
That's like saying that you don't want your kids to do better than you. You know?
Okay.
Yeah,
in life, we do things so our kids can outdo us.
So you're not a hater?
Oh, no, definitely not a hater, man. That's not in my blood.
He's a better man than us.
No, I like that, Pacman. Is there anything about this game that you see, just watching both these teams, whether it be on the defense, obviously something you know well, but is there anything between the Rams and the Bengals that you're like, I want to watch that matchup. I need to see that happen in real time in the Super Bowl?
I'm just eager to see how we take care of the front. Aaron Donald is by far one of the best defensive players that's played in the last decade.
Ridiculous.
And knowing that he is the best NFL defensive player now, and we got to figure out some kind of way to slow this guy down because he can change the game in a quick second.
Yeah.
He can literally bench 500 pounds. Did you see that?
You ever seen him, bro?
It's wild.
Have y'all ever seen him with his shirt off?
No.
He look like he just came from.
Oh man,
what's
look
up, my
at
brother?
that.
I love you.
Love you too. He look like he just came from lifting the whole weight room. Not just the weights.
Shout out to Brandon Marshall who just came up to say what's up.
Yeah. That was something.
That was real love.
Yeah, that's my boy.
When you think of the Super Bowl, Pac-Man, when I just say the word Super Bowl, what's the first thing that comes to mind? Like, what's your lasting memory watching the Super Bowl and just being around football your whole life? What is the one thing that sticks out when you think about like Super Bowls?
Shit, right now that the Bengals are in the Super Bowl.
It's this one. You live in the moment.
I'm never going to forgive 56. Oh, my God. Super Bowl 56. 56 nights.
That is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Shout out the future.
Shout out the future, man. 56 nights. Y'all know the real story behind 56 nights?
Yeah, he lost the hard drive.
No.
What happened?
Tell me the real
Esco
story.
got locked up for 56 nights
Yeah, there
in
you go.
Dubai.
Yeah.
And that's how they came up with 56 nights.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my boy. Shout out the future.
Shout out to DJ Esco, coolest DJ on the planet.
Yes, sir, Esco.
What
is your Pro Bowl? How do we fix the Pro Bowl? Do you have an opinion?
I don't know, but I know we can't do what we did this year, man.
Yeah,
that was sad, bro. Like, come on, bro. I understand nobody don't want to get hurt. We could have thudded or anything, but the tag, that took a lot away from the guys, accountability, I think. And for guys who teaching kids different things growing up playing football, that wasn't a good way to play it, though. That's just my opinion. When we went to the Pro Bowl, we knew to taper it down a little bit, but...
Well, what's the calculus on that? Because, like, the famous Pro Bowl example of a guy going hard was Sean Taylor blowing up the punter. You remember that one?
Yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah. So how do because like you're going into a Pro Bowl, we got to take it down a little bit, but like you don't want to take it down too much because then you're the punter getting blown up by Sean Taylor. So you're like, how do you figure out like how much you're taking it down here?
Well, like we was when the Pro Bowls I played in, it was just like we gonna hit you, but we weren't trying to kill each other.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, the winning team getting $80,000, so you got to try to put some kind of effort in it to win.
There you go, cash.
You get
on
what
the
I'm
line.
saying? It's cash on the line. So
all right, give us your official prediction before you go.
official predict. I was saying 21-17 to everybody, but I'm gonna say 24-17.
24-17.
Yeah.
What about halftime show? Who's standing out amongst all the halftime show? Who's all in it? Dre and Eminem and Kendrick Lamar,
Mary J.
Blige.
Yeah.
Who's everyone talking about? What's Twitter buzzing about? You think what's your prediction after the halftime show?
I think everybody they want to see Snoop.
Yes.
Snoop is the godfather of LA. He
and Death Row's back.
He do a lot of work here with the youth football.
Yeah, that's true.
So I think it's Snoop. Snoop is the only one get to smoke on ESPN.
That's true.
He probably gonna fire one up at the 50-yard line.
It's always Snoop, man.
In the halftime show.
Anytime Snoop's involved in anything, he's the answer. It's always him.
Oh yeah.
So. All right, Pacman, we appreciate it, man.
Thanks for having me, man.
All right, now we are joined by the voice of the Super Bowl, the radio broadcast, a man who is an absolute legend in these parts.
Really needs no introduction if you know his voice.
His name is Kevin Harlan. He has done, I believe, 7,000 interviews today. We are 7,001.
Just from your perspective, doing all the research for this game and getting everything together, how has that process been? And then based on everything that you've kind of accumulated, do you have any sort of way that you're leaning, when you look at this game, whether it be Rams or Bengals? Is there anything that really stood out to you when you're getting your research together?
Well, there's so much it's just a flood of information, an avalanche of notes and all these things. And really, it's the easiest game to prepare for because the storylines are so clear cut and and everything is kind of right in front of you. So over the last 2 weeks, all you do is you pick up a note here, a note there that you like. But on radio, it's hard sometimes to get in all that stuff. And the bottom line is the call. And so I concentrate most of my prep with watching tape and making sure I've got a good handle on the players, what their formations look like, and things like that, and go from there. But if there was one thing that, as a fan, perhaps that I pay attention to, I think it's Joe Burrow's escapability. Clearly, the defensive line of the Rams is going to put a great deal of pressure on what is thought to be the weakest part of the Bengals, and that's their offensive line and their protection for their quarterback. So if Burrow can get enough time and that protection can hold up and face the likes of Von Miller and Aaron Donald and Leonard Floyd and a group of very difficult defensive players to deal with, Cincinnati might be in pretty good shape. But Burrow has got to be able to maneuver out of the pocket and has got to be able to escape, because at the time he's proven to be very effective. Now, listen, it went position by position and player by player. Rams probably have overall more talent. But the Bengals have been that weird team this year that has really surprised people, and the biggest surprise probably came at Arrowhead 2 weeks ago, when they beat the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game. They were down 21-3, and they came back and didn't allow anything in the second half. They've only allowed 1 second-half touchdown in the postseason, which is the best of any defense. And they beat the Chiefs on their home turf. That was a very difficult thing to do.
All right, well, there it is. That's what, Kevin, thanks for making time for us. Best of luck on the call, and we appreciate it.
Well, there you have it. The Titus and Tate Super Bowl extravaganza is finally coming to an end. We have to thank Zach Ertz, right, that came through and gave us some great stuff. We got to thank Austin Ekeler, who came through. Lawrence Guy, we got to get him Kyle Guy's phone number.
We got to
at
set
some
that
point.
up.
Yeah, we got to figure that out. At least get him a jersey.
Yeah.
Kyle Guy, please reach out to us.
We
Cooper Rush.
do need the jersey swap. I want both of them holding each
like they leave the glove with each other. Yeah,
yeah,
that'd be good. Suzy Schuster, who gave us great media advice. She's a legend, as we all know. LaDainian Tomlinson, you asked him a great question. We figured out why he wore number 21. So
and
that
he hates Mike Singletary. It sounds like.
Mike Singletary really made an
Pacman
impact
Jones
on him.
came by.
Yeah.
Bobby Okereke. I don't think I introduced Bobby Okereke.
From the Indianapolis Colts.
Yeah, from the Colts.
Shout out to Bobby. He was great.
We had a nice little. I'm sure we're leaving a few out. Brian Curtis, obviously.
Oh, shout out to Brian Curtis.
We probably got him fired. We probably got Bryan fired. But
and Kevin Harlan, obviously
okay.
the voice of the Super Bowl for Westwood One, stopped by and gave us a nice little preview.
Fun little thing. Thanks for listening. We enjoyed it. I am sure we'll never be invited back to Super Bowl Media Row ever again. So if you hated this, great news. We'll probably never do it again. If you loved it, well then I don't know. Tell somebody and maybe
we'll be back. There you go.
Where's the Super Bowl next year?
That's Phoenix.
It's in Phoenix.
Yeah, that's what people are yelling at us.
Phoenix.
We can go to. It's an hour flight.
It is, but it's like it's the same. I mean, it's just like over there.
Yeah,
like, you might as well just have it in LA.
Then the next year is Vegas. We'll be back in Vegas.
They're doing 3 in a row. Like
it's the West Coast, baby.
But I'm saying do 3 at LA in a row. Just do it up. Move the Super Bowl to LA. That's my final thought. Move the Super Bowl to LA permanently. See you guys tomorrow. We're watching college basketball. We're talking. See you then.